previous bowl games played across the years. 1963, the first one in the Rose Bowl. USC beat Wisconsin 42-37. 1964, Cotton Bowl. Texas beat Navy 28-6. 1969, it was Ohio State and USC again in the Rose Bowl. Buckeyes winning 27-16. Then 1972, Nebraska and Alabama in the Orange Bowl. Nebraska 38, Alabama 6. 1979, Penn State and Alabama, and the Crimson Tide won it 14-7. Right here in the Superdome in New Orleans. And tonight, on this very field, we've got Georgia and Penn State going for the national championship in the 1983 Sugar Bowl.
Good evening, welcome to New Orleans, and Happy New Year from ABC Sports. The game you are about to see is as close to a national championship game as college football can get under its present structure. No need for hype. Number one against number two, you know what it's all about. The drama will unfold here in a Superdome jammed with red and black Georgia rooters, voices already hoarse from a week of screaming, "How about them dogs?" And before thousands of blue and white clad Penn State fans for whom winning a national title has become a 15-year holy grail. We are told that the fire department limit for the Superdome, vendors, guards, and all, is 80,101. The ball is kicked. There will be that many, maybe a few more. Georgia's fans felt the elation of winning a national championship in this building 2 years ago today. And 4 years ago today, Penn State's fans felt the sting of losing one to Alabama. Hello, I'm Jim Lampley. If you go back to the beginning of the 1982 college football season, you'll recall that the University of Pittsburgh was an almost unanimous preseason choice to win the national championship. Georgia and Penn State were regarded as teams in transition, top 20 programs, but perhaps without the muscle to make a national title run this year. College football these days is a game of narrow scrapes. I think it's fair to say what you're going to see tonight are the two most opportunistic teams in the sport. And in that context, it's interesting to look back at how they got here. Here were the pivotal moments in 1982 for the two teams which will play for the whole ball of wax. Penn State's early season showcased the previously underestimated passing talents of quarterback Todd Blackledge. And indeed, it was Blackledge's arm which gave the Nittany Lions their toughest win, coming from behind at home against Nebraska. A big break to set up the winning touchdown. Tight end Mike McCloskey appeared to be out of bounds when he made this catch, but officials ruled it first and goal, Penn State at the 2-yard line. On the next play, with just 4 seconds on the clock, reserve tight end Kirk Bowman scooped in the winning touchdown, and the Nittany Lions were 4-0. But if Penn State was lucky against Nebraska, it was unlucky the following week against Alabama in Birmingham. Fourth quarter, trailing 27-21. Punter Ralph Giacomarro kicked the ball off the back of substitute blocker Mike Suter. The freak play set up an Alabama touchdown. And the Tide went on to a 42-21 victory over Penn State, a victory that appeared at the time to have knocked Joe Paterno out of his chance at a title shot. The Lions bounced back to win their last 6, and there were two notable developments on offense. Tailback Kurt Warner emerged from an early season shell to remind Notre Dame and others of his multiple talents. And flanker Kenny Jackson, number 82, became a star in his own right. His touchdown catch against Pittsburgh keyed the victory that put Penn State squarely back in the middle of the national championship picture. No team had a tougher first week than Georgia. The Bulldogs got a big win on the first Monday in September against defending national champ Clemson, but just 5 days later, they were back in Sanford Stadium against Brigham Young. After an uphill struggle throughout the afternoon, Kevin Butler's field goal, with just over a minute left in the game, gave the Dogs a 17-14 win. A victory safeguarded moments later when the defense would come up with its 6th interception of the game. The interception, a hallmark all year for the Bulldog defensive unit. This one was by senior cornerback Ronnie Harris. Georgia was expected to get a big test from Florida in November, but Herschel Walker was in the middle of his Heisman Trophy drive, and the Dogs rolled to a 44-0 rout of the Gators. They were 8-0. But 1 week later, they were in trouble at Auburn, trailing in the fourth quarter, when much maligned passer John Lastinger came up with a third down completion to Herman Archie, keeping alive a drive that led to Walker's winning touchdown. Auburn threatened, but again, great pass defense in the closing moments preserved the win. Georgia was 10-0 with only Georgia Tech remaining. And against the Engineers, Georgia reminded all of us of its capacity for the big play. Herschel broke a 59-yarder. He was now well on the way to recognition as the nation's outstanding player. And Lastinger, a quarterback whose confidence grew throughout the season after a shaky beginning, uncorked a 63-yarder to Herman Archie to show that he could indeed throw the bomb. When the dust had settled, Georgia had college football's only perfect record and a chance for its second national title in 3 years. So that is how they got here. Both teams have a superstar, Blackledge of Penn State, Walker of Georgia. And we'll be back to hear from both of them right after this.
It's Atari's video game Defender.
I played on ColecoVision.
Activision.
I played on ColecoVision.
Mattel's M Network and Imagic.
We played them on ColecoVision.
Introducing ColecoVision's first expansion module that lets you play all Atari 2600 compatible cartridges. And with all of
this game back in September as our opening telecast of the year, we would almost certainly have featured the two tailbacks, Herschel Walker and Kurt Warner, as the dominant personalities in the game. It's a mark of how much Penn State has changed this year that this segment will feature the quarterback, Todd Blackledge. Certainly Warner is still a great player, but in the story of Blackledge you have an added dimension. Gifted passer has the option after this season of returning to Penn State for another year or going on into the NFL draft. I spoke to him in State College 2 weeks ago.
Todd, going back to August, before this season began, what can you remember of what your expectations were for this team this season?
Well, I think from the very beginning of preseason, even in the summer, there was about 30, 35 guys up here who stayed up this summer specifically to work out and get in great shape. And we really had a feeling that we could win the national championship.
Emotionally, immediately following that loss to Alabama, did you still feel like you were in it?
Well, I think at first the Alabama loss was disappointing. It was a very tough game to swallow because we were well prepared, we were excited, we were anticipating a big game, and went down there and just, made mistakes right and left and really just didn't deserve to win the football game. And yet after the game, amidst all the disappointment and the suffering, some real key leaders and some key seniors just rose up and started walking around and saying, hey, it's not over yet. We're going to win the rest of the games, and we're going to commit ourselves to winning the rest of the games.
You have a personal decision to make as to whether to stay here for another year of eligibility or to go on to professional football.
If it looks like very good that I could be a first-round draft pick, then that's probably what I'm going to decide to go into the draft this year, because that is basically what's going to make up my mind. If I can be a first-round draft pick this year, I'd probably want to go this year. If it looks like I'd be late second or third round this year and possibly have a much better chance of being a first round after another year at Penn State, then that's what I'll probably do.
Many question whether Georgia can stop Blackledge's passing. Just as many question whether Penn State can stop Herschel Walker's running. Herschel is, as you know if you've seen him, a man for whom all options are open. He could become an FBI agent. He could become a stand-up comedian. Or he could leave school early to go on into pro football. He's the central figure in every football game he plays. And I spoke to him, too.
Herschel, psychologically, how does this team differ from the previous two you've played on here at Georgia?
Well, I think this team here, we're young, and I think we're more together. Like, we have a lot of talent on the team. We probably have more talent than we had on the past 2 years that I've been at Georgia. We're closer together. And I think that's one big difference that is different. And one of the big, I think, and it's to our advantage is that we've played on a national championship team. We've played on 2 SEC teams. We know how to win. We know what it's going to take.
At the Heisman Trophy award ceremony in New York, you seemed to say that you were planning to come back here to Georgia next fall for your 4th year of school. Are you sure about that?
Yes, I think I'm sure. I think, like people say, the best of your life is going to be your college life that I have now. And I'm going to say the people that I've been involved around, not just the people at the university, but my teammates have been something real special to me. Because my life has changed a great deal. I'm from a small town. I'm from a town that have a lot of loving people, but the team I'm in, they treat me like a person. They treat me like one of their teammates, like another guy. I'm just part of the group.
The other two teams that you played on were known as scrappy fighting teams, but this one is even more so.
Yes, I think because they are champions. they're winners. And I don't care if you lose one game, they say you had a winning season, but that's not a winning season for us. If you're going to be a champion, you want to win everything. You want to be the best, and that's what I think that the guys now want to be. I know I do. We're not losers, and we don't want to be a loser. We lost to Pitt last year in the Sugar Bowl. We lost to Clemson. It's only 2 games that I've lost since I've been here, and losing is not fun.
As college football becomes more and more balanced with the talent spread out over the country, it is more and more a coach's game. It's no accident that Vince Dooley and Joe Paterno are here. You'll hear from the marching bands of both Penn State University and the University of Georgia. Once again, you have tuned in to what is as close as college football can come, under its present structure, to a legitimate head-to-head matchup for the national championship. The #1 ranked Georgia Bulldogs, ranked at the top in both polls, will be taking on the #2 Penn State Nittany Lions, who are ranked #2 in both wire service polls. And right now, from the Gatlin brothers, our national anthem. With that rousing rendition of the national anthem, the pieces are almost all in place. You've heard from the players. It is no accident, as I said, that this game matches 2 of the greatest tacticians in college football coaching. 2 men of very similar styles, and 2 men for whom this game carries a high degree of personal significance. Vince Dooley and Joe Paterno. I spoke to both of them. Coach, for those of you who were here then, and for those of us who were here then, this situation seems to me to be very similar to Alabama in 1979. I wonder, for you personally, does it feel different going into this ball game?
Yeah, it does for me, because I feel more comfortable and we're better prepared right now. I came down in '79 and didn't realize how much hoopla there'd be, and I didn't realize how many distractions would have, and really didn't have my team quite ready. And I don't think they were ready when we played. We had too many loose ends, and it showed the way in the ball game. So I think we feel much more comfortable about how we're going to play tomorrow night. So I feel comfortable about that part of it.
Joe, is this the best team you've ever had at Penn State?
Well, it probably is the best balanced team we have offensively. We do so many things well. We can throw and we run, and we have explosive players, more explosive football players than we have ever had at Penn State. Big play people. I'm not so sure the offensive line is as good as maybe a couple we've had, but they've been intelligent and they're steady and they do things very well together. Defensively, we don't have quite the dominating people up front that we had when we had Clark and Millen when we were here in '78, or when we had Reed and Smear and those kind of people, Hartenstein, Crowder, and people of that nature. But it may prove to be the best team we've had. I'd like to see him play, see how we do with Georgia.
Coach, situation very similar to 2 years ago when you came in ranked #1. Your team was listed by odds makers as an underdog in the ball game. You went on to win the game and the national championship. I wonder, for you, as you approach this one, how does it differ than 2 years ago?
Well, I think the difference is that we're playing a football team that probably has more balance than the team that we played in 1980. Notre Dame was an excellent football team, a great defensive team, but they did not have the pass-run balance offensively that Penn State has, and consequently Penn State will present more of a problem to us than the great problem that we had against Notre Dame in 1980.
Coach, there is some question as to which of your defensive linemen are going to be healthy enough to make a contribution. Are you worried about the problem of putting the necessary pressure on Todd Blackledge?
Well, I'm concerned, but I'm also concerned about a lot of things. I stay concerned, and that's one big problem because Jimmy Payne, who was potentially an All-American player but did not perform this year because of injuries, will not be healthy totally. We hope he'll play some. Jack Lindsay, also a very fine player, has not played very much this year. Both of them give us the muscle that we need in the defensive line. On the other hand, we've got players like Freddie Gilbert, Stan Dooley that have had minor injuries. We hope they'll be all right. They're not very big. Our defensive line has been kicked around a lot, and I'm satisfied that Penn State's going to come out and attack us in the defensive line and try to move the football on us with a good, strong running game. And it's going to be very important that our line braces up somehow, some way to minimize that, to make them go back to the passing game, which I think eventually they will before the game is over. In any event, we are limited in the defensive line. We've been limited all year. People have moved on us. At the same time, we've been able to win, and that's what's been the bottom line.
And the bottom line in the Superdome is that we are now moments away from this dream match, the 6th time in history that the number 1 and 2 teams have met in a bowl game, the 3rd year in a row that the number 1 team is a New Year's Day underdog. And among the thousands of red and black clad Georgia fans who've made their way down here from Jessup and Dahlonega and Warner Robins and Macon, and among the thousands of blue and white clad Penn State fans from Altoona and Wilkes-Barre and maybe even Youngstown over in Ohio, all feel they share directly in the next 3 hours. All are hoping to walk out of here 3 hours from now, silently whispering to themselves, we're number 1. Up amid the red and black pom-poms in section 125, Cindy DeAngelis, Herschel Walker's girlfriend, is seated and waiting. Herschel's parents were expected to make the trip from Wrightsville, Georgia, but they haven't yet shown up in their seats. They will probably be here later. In the blue and white section 125, Todd Blackledge's mother, Linda, is here watching with her family. Her husband works for the Pittsburgh Steelers on the weekends and couldn't make the trip. Vince Dooley's wife, Barbara, is here somewhere in the stadium, as is Suzanne Paterno, waiting for her husband to go to work. But there's a difference. Sue Paterno watches the ball game. Vince's wife, Barbara, will probably leave sometime in the second quarter to go to a secluded hallway and pace away the final 2 hours, too nervous to watch the game. At stake, in all probability, the MacArthur Bowl, representative of the 1982 National Championship. Keith Jackson and Frank Broyles are going to trace that drama for you line by line. So stay tuned as ABC Sports brings you the battle for the National Championship. Number 1 ranked Georgia battles number 2 Penn State in the 1983 Sugar Bowl after this word from your station.
Television's most awesome achievement premieres Sunday, February 6th, The Winds of War.
Well, it's the new year, dear. Decided how old you're going to be yet?
No, but I have decided I want a new Oldsmobile.
Sorry, we blew our wad on Christmas.
Well, there's a sale-a-thon going on.
Sure, another sale.
ABC Sports presents the 1983 Sugar Bowl, live from the Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. The number 1 ranked Georgia Bulldogs against number 2 Penn State Nittany Lions. And this ABC Sports exclusive brought to you by Chevrolet. Chevrolet is USA 1, and USA 1 is taking charge. By Prudential, for life, health, auto, or home insurance. When you think about your financial security, see a Prudential agent. Get a piece of the rock. Prudential Insurance. A Superdome in New Orleans. Absolute ultimate capacity. As number 2 ranked Penn State, the Nittany Lions in white, come onto the playing surface. Penn State had 12,500 tickets. They could have sold 100. And here come the undefeated Bulldogs of Georgia. Jackson along with Frank Broyles, and this is fun. You don't have to sell this one. It's just put it on the tee, and I guess the old Southern expression is sick 'em, Frank.
Keith, when you're playing for the biggest prize in college football, the worst thing that you could have happen is your team be uptight. These coaches hadn't been leading cheers about how important it is to win. On the other hand, they've taken the low-key approach, having their team emphasize, be prepared, don't make any mistakes. When they walk off that field, be confident they've played their very best, and then they end up by saying, usually the score will take care of itself.
All right, Penn State has Todd Blackledge at quarterback, a fine passing game, great receivers both wide and the tight ends. They have a fine running game in Kurt Warner and Johnny Williams. The Georgia offense, on the other hand, is a bit one-dimensional. That means Herschel Walker. What does it mean?
Well, Georgia's been very stereotyped. When it's fashionable to pass, Georgia has stayed with the run about 80% of the time, and the compelling reason for that is the ability of Herschel Walker. But I would look for today that Georgia to make some minor changes at least, and you be more flexible in the use of Herschel. Put him in motion, Keith. Use him as a wing back. Get the ball to him on some short passes rather than just pitching a handoff from the I formation tailback.
And Blackledge, of course, his offensive package is an intermediate range. He is not a nickel and dime thrower.
Well, the striking thing is the explosiveness. Penn State can run or pass equally well. Blackledge threw 22 touchdown passes, passed for over 2,200 yards. And this is going to present major problems to the Georgia defense.
One of the things that's happened in the last few hours, it seems to be a loss for the Georgia Bulldogs. Their backup tailback, Carney Norris, missed curfew, gone, not dressed, out of the ball game. Freshman Tron Jackson steps in as the backup. That weakens that important tailback position and the kick return position.
Well, that will put more emphasis on Herschel having to stay in the ball game. But when this is a team sport, and regrettable as it is, coaches have to make those decisions.
All right, he called
the team captains now on the field with the referee, Vance Carlson.
You may kick or receive or defend either goal.
Penn State has won the toss. It is a Big 8 officiating crew. Penn State will receive.
Want a kick from this side.
So the Nittany Lions will have the first offensive series. And the man who's going to pull the trigger for them is the man who's going to introduce the offensive starters for the Nittany Lions.
Hi, I'm Todd Blackledge, quarterback of the Penn State Nittany Lions, and I'd like to introduce you to the rest of the starting lineup for the Sugar Bowl. Starting with my roommate, number 25, running back Kurt Warner from tiny Wyoming, West Virginia. We all call him Curtis Blow. Next, we have John Williams, fullback, number 44, from Somerville, New Jersey, and his friends call him Doo-Doo. Kevin Bow, number 11, wide receiver and return specialist from Long Island, New York, recently won the E.T. Lookalike contest at Penn State.
Thanks, you want to be.
Greg Garrity, number 19, from Bradford Wood, Pennsylvania, is a fine receiver, losing a lot of his hair, though. Mike McCluskey, big tight end from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Father Judge High School, tremendous pass receiver. Hope you get a few blocks in the Sugar Bowl.
Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome. Bill Kontz, real name Julius, nickname Juju, one of the Twin Towers at offensive tackle from Belle Vernon, Pennsylvania. Tremendous football player. Big Dick McGinnis from State College, Pennsylvania, an offensive guard. Very, very, very seldom do you see him without a big pinch of skull in his mouth, but he looks good today. Look good, Dick. Mark Battaglia, Batman, many other nicknames that I can't mention on national TV. But Batman is from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, a tremendous offensive center, and he loves seafood. Pete Spiros, offensive guard from Maryland, Potomac, Maryland, number 56, one of our team captains, and he's been a 3-year starter and spends a lot of time in the weight room. Doesn't have much of a neck. Ronnie Heller, big offensive tackle, converted from tight end this year, from Farmingdale, New York, and he's really filled in and done a great job at offensive tackle for us. And that's the starting lineup that you'll see in the Sugar Bowl, and that's the offensive lineup that's going to do a number on the Georgia Bulldogs.
He hopes, he says, he hopes. And of course, as we noted at the very beginning, this is one of those games where it's just let them play, because these are two quality teams from two great universities coached by two outstanding groups of coaches. The Georgia Bulldogs will kick off. Kevin Butler, the sophomore from Stone Mountain, he can knock it deep. And back to return, Kevin Bow, number 11, and Tony Mumford, number 12, and the 49th Sugar Bowl game is underway, and Butler knocks it all the way to the back of the end zone. No return on it. The Georgia Bulldogs, 11-0, ranked 1 in the AP and UPI polls. Their record on the season, you see they started a little slow. That trouble with Clemson, a good team. Had to scuffle against BYU, had some squeezes along the way, closed out with a strong showing against Georgia Tech. Penn State, ranked number 2, stumbled just one time. That was against Alabama. They've lost, had trouble. In fact, Joe has never beaten the Bear. And they were trounced 42-21, but righted themselves and finished very strong. Well, the general feeling is that the winner of this game should claim the national championship, if for no other reason, because of the ballot power in their respective sections of the country. And as we come to the attack on the first offensive play, it is Kurt Warner, number 25, carrying the ball. Georgia's defense lines up with Dale Carver, Freddie Gilbert, Kevin Jackson, Tim Crow, Stan Dooley. Backers are Tommy Thurston and Will Forts. The secondary, Ronnie Harris, Tony Flack, Terry Hogue, and Jeff Sanchez. And Frank Broyles, I think this is what Vince Dooley was worried about, that Penn State would come out here on the first offensive series and just try to jam the ball right down their throat. And if they can do it, look out.
But Penn State's offensive line is much superior physically than Georgia's defense, and that could be the plan.
But on second down, they go to the pass. And it's Warner getting the ball at the 30, where he is brought down right at the 30, and that looks like enough for a first down, as he was able to twist himself forward and move the ball beyond the marker. So it is going to be a first down for Penn State. So they run on the first play, throw it on the second, and they get 10 yards.
We can look at these graphics. It shows Penn State's balance. 215 yards passing, 207 yards rushing. The first time in over 40 years that Penn State has passed during the season for more yardage than they ran. But this shows the equal balance in their offense.
Joel Coles is now in there at fullback for Penn State. John Williams moves into the tailback position, and Johnny Williams, who has played both the fullback and the tailback position, is a very good one. He may wind up in his senior year being only a junior. When Kurt Warner leaves, he may wind up being the tailback next year.
But John Williams has already rushed for 600 yards from the fullback position, and he's caught 21 passes, and that shows the versatility of the Penn State offense having a fullback that effective.
Second down and 9 from the 31 for the Lions, wearing what is fondly referred to as their generic white uniform. They are not fancy. And then you've got, here's the down the middle for the tight end, McCluskey, and it's a big one all the way down to the Georgia 37-yard line. Big Mike McCluskey, 6'5", 240 from Philadelphia.
Watch Blackledge fake to the tailback. This holds the linebacker. Now McCluskey is going right down the middle. Georgia was without a free safety. While they're the defense without a free safety, they put one of their defensive men up on the playing the short defender, leaving the hole down the middle for the completion, 34 yards.
McCluskey has caught on the regular season 18 passes for better than 12.5 yards per catch. He is a big play man for a tight end. First down, Lions, Georgia, 37. And back goes Blackledge. No pressure on Todd. Over the middle. Good to Garrity. First down. Penn State inside the Georgia 10.
Penn State's offensive line are doing a great job. Georgia's rushing only 4 people. That's what they like to do. And you see Blackledge have the poise, throws the ball right over the middle. Watch one thing that Joe Paterno says about Blackledge, he has cut down his stride, a quicker delivery than any time, and Garrity catches his 33rd pass of the season for 27 yards.
And it's first down and goal to go for Penn State. The ball just inside the Georgia 10. Bulldogs now going to have to get some more people up on the front. They do. They go into a 7-man front right now with the linebackers plugging a hole. Blackledge back, whips it to the corner. Pass caught by McCluskey, knocked out of bounds inside the 5. So the tight end continues to play an important role for the Lions offense as he steps out at the 3.
McCluskey is 6'5", weighs 245 pounds, and in studying the film, he looked to me like in charging off the line, he could keep up with the wide receivers, which means he has a 4.6 to 4.7 speed.
Blackledge now 4 out of 4 in his passing for 74 yards. Kenny Jackson and Greg Garrity lead the ball game. Kurt Warner and Johnny Williams come back into the ball game. Coles stays in for blocking, so they're going to go into a power I. 2 fullbacks and the ball is to Warner. Kurt Warner going to the outside. It's a foot race to the flat. Touchdown, Penn State.
a great block by Cole's number 20. Also pulling out is Law, the guard. They tie up Hogue, the safety man, who was blitzing on the play, and Sanchez, the free safety, couldn't outrun and get to the corner before Warner scores with the ball. How easy Penn State made it look on that drive. 80 yards.
The point. Gunchitano is good. 5'7", 165-pounder from Coral Springs, Florida, and Penn State goes 80 yards in 2 minutes and 51 seconds to lead it 7-0. So Kurt Warner carries the ball the first 2 plays of that drive by Penn State. One of them running, one of them receiving the pass for a first down, and then had the privilege of cantering it in to the corner from 3 yards out. And Penn State's on the board 7-0, and Massimo Manca now will kick it off. The deep people are Tron Jackson, number 25 for Georgia, and Keith Montgomery, number 23, Jimmy Harrell, number 82. It'll be Harrell back on the goal line with Montgomery. One is a freshman, one is a sophomore. And Jimmy Harrell, the sophomore from Somerville, South Carolina, took a step forward and decided he'd better wait it out. So Georgia will start at the 20 with Johnny Lastinger opening at the quarterback position. Herschel Walker will be the tailback. And working at fullback will be Chris McCarthy, who's turned out to be a fine blocker, winning the job at midseason. Chuck Jones is the flanker. He's not as swift as you've seen in the past. Kevin Harris is another wide man to split in. Georgia is a little bit short of real raw speed at the wide receiver positions. But let's see what the Bulldogs decide to do in their first defensive possession, as Penn State leads by a score of 7-0. And it is Lastinger at the line of scrimmage, cut down by Greg Gattuso, a big junior out of Pittsburgh. The offensive front for the Georgia Bulldogs. Norris Brown is the tight end, 6'3", 215. Jimmy Harper, a tackle, 270 pounds. Mike Weaver, a guard, a sophomore, 275. Wayne Radloff, the center, at 260, 6'5". James Brown, he's at 245 at guard, and Guy McIntyre weighs in at 250. Second down and 10 for the Bulldogs from their 20. Lastinger turns and gives it to the up man McCarthy, the fullback. He crosses the 30, and that will be a first down for Georgia. So they send the short man on a nice trap hole over the left side, and he gets the first down. Schefter, Gattuso, Ofer, Ashley, the 4 men up front. The linebackers are Kelly, Radisek, Paffenroth for Penn State. The secondary, Biondi, one of the smaller men on the field, but a good one. Roger Jackson, Mark Robinson, and Harry Hamilton is the free safety. Plays a linebacker about half the time. First down, Bulldogs, their own 30. McCarthy, the fullback, in motion. Herschel Walker's first carry goes to the outside. He gets it up to the 35. And there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white shirts over there. Biondi was the man that shoved him out of bounds.
One thing that Penn State will try to do to Herschel Walker's sweep plays, run him to the boundary. They feel like he's less effective going to the boundary, running east and west, rather than when he finds the crease, turns up inside and makes big yardage. As we look at Herschel's marks for this year, 1,752 yards, 5.2 average per rush, 16 touchdowns.
If he stays healthy and if he stays at Georgia for his senior season, there's no reason why he won't break all known records as a running back. Got it again, coming to the left side, gets around the corner, and then he is cut down. Coming up out of the secondary, it's Mark Robinson, number 32, the junior free safety from Silver Springs, Maryland, and he took him down with authority.
Most people would say, what is a free safety making the tackle on the line of scrimmage? He's programmed to do this. Robinson, number 32, is coming all the way from the free safety position. You can watch what a fine tackler he is, tackling Herschel low. Joe Paterno says that Mark Robinson is the next to the best tackler he's ever had at Penn State.
Third down and 3 for the Georgia Bulldogs from their 37. Outside it goes to Walker. He's got the first down. He's looking for more. He's out to the 44 before they cut the feet from under him. And making the tackle, Walker Lee Ashley, number 37. They mark it down at the 44, and it's another first down for Georgia. Frank, I think he's running so much easier now with so much more confidence. He seems to sense where the opportunities are for him.
That's a good point, Keith. His coaches say that he has gained the confidence to where he can wait and time his blocks of the offensive lineman to make the most yardage. Here's Herschel's NCAA records at the end of his junior year.
Lastinger, quick stand-up. Little passes thrown and dropped. and it's incomplete. It was very close to being a lateral. Herman Archie, a freshman out of Columbus, was not overly aggressive in going for the ball. That was within a foot of being a lateral, looked to me like.
One of those confidence passes that let Lastinger throw and complete the first pass to the ball game. The ball is coming forward just barely. Arch is just a freshman, and he made that freshman-like mistake, taking his eyes off of it, trying to run before he catches it. There's Joe Paterno, what a fabulous, distinguished, illustrious career he has had, and so has Vince Dooley at Georgia.
2nd down and 10. Fullback McCarthy. Second effort to about the 47, maybe the 48. Clarence Kay now is in the lineup. He's number 84, 6'3", 225-pound tight end. A fierce blocker and a pretty good pass receiver.
He leads, Clarence Kay leads the Georgia receivers with 12 receptions, which gives you an indication of just how ineffective or how Georgia has at least pressed the running game and pretty much ignored the passing game.
9 minutes and 45 seconds to go in the first quarter of play. Georgia with a conversion on 3rd down of a little better than 46% over the past season. It is 3rd down. They need 7. Lastinger straight back. He has all day. He throws it over the middle, and it is complete. And the gain is good for the first down. It moves down to the Penn State 37, and it's Clarence Kay, the big tight end, who was all alone to make the catch.
What a great call it was. Another short pass, a confidence builder, faking to Herschel and letting Kay, the tight end, delay, taking a block, and then just toss the ball right over the line of scrimmage because the linebackers had dropped deep. Radisek had dropped 15 yards deep, and Kay caught it for the first down.
Bulldogs operating from the Penn State 37. Lastinger turns it upfield himself. He is hit by Radisek as he turns it upfield and gets in across the 34, just barely. Those two linebackers, that Ken Kelly 98, Radisek 97, and Papenroth 33. Of the three of them, Radisek and Kelly are the rangier and the quicker.
Penn State is quite known for their great linebackers, and these fit into the category. Look at the tackles. Radisek leading with 71. Papenroth and Kelly 3rd and 4th.
And 8 pass interceptions amongst them. Ball is pitched out to Herschel Walker. Away from 1, away from 2, away from 3 to the sidelines and out of bounds. First down, Georgia Bulldogs. Papenroth finally slid him out of bounds.
Well, this is a familiar run that we've seen many times from Herschel Walker. The Georgia fans are accustomed to this. A great block by McCarthy, number 46. He's got to make the key block. Gray is pulling around. Watch McCarthy block at the feet of the number 17 Hamilton, and then free safety Robinson missed the tackle beyond him. Well, he did miss it, and finally Papenroth bringing him down.
And it's first down, Georgia. The ball is at the Penn State 21. And in motion now as Lastinger turns. Penalty flag is thrown. The play goes up the middle with McCarthy carrying. And let's check. The flag came from a linesman.
Well, Georgia seems to be moving back, Keith. One thing that Georgia doesn't need are penalties, because the Georgia offense pressing the running game. If it's 1st and 10, they average 3.5 yards per play.
Big 8 crew, referee Vance Carlson, Bob Caceres umpire, Dale Schroer's the lineman, Kent Houck line judge, John Schroeder back judge, Artie Paulk the back judge, John Schroeder the field judge. This is Vance Carlson's last game, 25 years of it. Big 8 retires you at age 57. He's been a good one. He's worked, I think he said, 244 major college games, 20 bowl games.
Offside, offense, first down.
Keith, I want to echo those remarks about Vance Carlson. He's called some games for Arkansas through the years. We respected him, admired him, and he's had a very, very outstanding career. We'll miss him in coaching in the football.
Ball is at the 26-yard line. 1st and 15 for Georgia. Lastinger gives it to Walker. Up the middle he goes, kicking his way, slipping and sliding. One man, Harry Hamilton, the strong safety, kept him from scoring. He picked his way through there and almost got away, and there's a penalty flag thrown across the way against Penn State.
I'm sure that Georgia will refuse a penalty, but we've got to comment about the call of Lastinger at quarterback, who has been somewhat maligned, even though he's 25-0 as a starting quarterback at Valdosta High School and at the University of Georgia. Let's hear the call, and we'll continue that.
We have offside, defense, Decline. Second down.
But on the last play, Lastinger changed the cadence of his snap count. He went to a higher number, and it drew Penn State offside and opened up, I guess, a little bit of a hole. But there's Lastinger, 62 completions, only 41%, 907 yards. But there's some things that we'll talk about this young man that he can do and do extremely well.
It is 2nd down and 4 from the 15 of Penn State. Fake to the fullback. Lastinger keeps it, turns it upfield, and he's very close to the 10, very close to a first down. Ken Kelly, number 98, the linebacker, brought him down.
As we look at Joe, a little bit worried. I think this possession by Georgia was critically important for the Bulldogs' morale after what happened to the defense on the first down. They felt like, hey, we might be in a scoring duel. As we look at Joe Paterno, he's a little bit worried. Thought his defense might be able to stop him and get the ball right back. That's what he's trying to do. First down. Boy, that's a good run by Lastinger on short yardage.
It's also outside the 10, close to the 11, so Georgia's going to have a little room to operate, getting the first down.
Keith, that's a great point. Coaches, you can't believe how important that is in our signal calling to think that we can get the first down and have maybe 8 downs from the 1-yard line, from the 11-yard line, rather than 4 from the 10. It's a big point.
Harris wide to the left. McCarthy goes in motion. Ball goes to Walker. Walker dives, losing his footing, gets a yard, maybe 2.
Keith, excuse me, I was just going to say one of the trivia questions our producer Chuck Howard was telling me before the game is who blocked for Herschel Walker. Well, here's the man. He has the key block. He's got the block, the force man coming right here, Hamilton. Watch him roll him up, number 17. What a great block. That's what we call the shoulder roll. He gets that shoulder on the legs, and they roll him up like a window shade.
Gotta like it, though. And he does. 2nd down and 8. The ball is at the 9. Lastinger on a roll. Ripped it over the middle. No! Intended for Clarence Kay. And Kay was so alone, he was lonesome.
But it was a great call.
Yes, it was.
Triple, there was a flood over to the right. The tight end blocked momentarily. Watch Kay come off and go inside. And the defensive safety man is supporting so fast. Robinson, number 32, took 2 steps up. Look how wide open he is. That's too bad. He let him just a little bit too much. Tried to be careful. Clay couldn't get to it. That's too bad. 3rd down and long.
I'm not sure I wouldn't come right back with that.
That wide open is repeating plays is sometimes the best thing you can do.
3rd down. The ball is near the 9. Harris in motion. Lastinger rolling it along, keeping it, turns it over. Boy, he took a whack from Radisek. Scott Radisek, that middle linebacker, was trailing the play, and he came down on him like a fallen wall, and it's 4th down. That gets Kevin Butler, the place kicker, in the game.
Radisek, number 97, right in the middle of your screen. Watch him plug the hole. He reads it perfectly, keeps his shoulders parallel the line of scrimmage where the quarterback cannot cut in behind him. Once the quarterback makes his cut, he forces the play.
It off, including this game tonight, 64 times, 51 have not been returned. Kevin Bow, number 11, Tony Mumford, number 12, the deep people for Penn State. And Butler hits it, and it's deep again. Way back there and gone. It'll be Penn State's ball. 1st down at its 20.
Keith, I think it's worth mentioning that Penn State scored on an 80-yard drive in 3 minutes. It took Georgia 6 minutes to go approximately 71 yards.
Yes. So that's the nature of the Penn State ball club. They can burn you from anywhere.
Their wide receivers have caught 73 passes, and Georgia's wide receivers have caught 18 passes. Shows you the explosive talent that Penn State has. Triple formation, Chief.
Jackson and Garrity, the wide people. Warner's in the slot, and Blackledge back to put it up. He loops out, sets up the screen pass. Warner's got the ball, and Warner's got a big gain up across the 35. He picked up about 15 yards on the screen. Tony Flack, who is the first freshman in Vince Dooley's coaching history to start for him at a cornerback position. So Kurt Warner from Wyoming, West Virginia, who holds some 40-yard Penn State rushing record, turns in a big gain. He's going to have a fine career as a professional, I would think.
He has worked hard to make himself a better football player, both in running, blocking, pass receiving. He's an all-purpose back now.
Lions first down, their own 36, leading by a score of 7-3, 5.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Warner turns it back inside. They seemingly had him trapped behind the line of scrimmage, but the agility of the man, he turns it back inside and gets a short gain out of it. Coming up on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football, Dallas, Minnesota. Live 9 Eastern Time, January 3rd. 2 playoff teams banging heads. Now, the game's scheduled for Minnesota, but I'm sure most of you have heard that they tore a hole in the roof cleaning the snow off. And I frankly can't tell you at this moment if they are sure the game's going to be played there. They're trying to get it fixed, get a new panel for it. Here's the pass to the sideline by Blackledge, intended for Kenny Jackson, and Jackson can't get to it. The game was intended, if they couldn't get it fixed, to bring it down here to the Superdome, but now I'm told that they will have it fixed and will be able to play the game in Minnesota.
Keith, on 2nd and long, Penn State has passed 70% of the time, and Georgia came with the first blitz of the ball game and forced Blackledge to throw before the deep pattern that Penn State stresses could develop.
So he's looking at 3rd down and about 8 now from his own 37, just outside there. He sends Kenny Jackson in motion. And he's going to put it up. And there's no pressure on him. Now there's some heat. And they got him. That was a terrific second effort by Tim Crow, 91, a senior from Stone Mountain. Crow was blocked, but he wouldn't quit. Blackledge looked left, looked right, and by that time, Crow had freed himself, and he got it.
Number 91, Tim Crow. This is his 5th sack. He's rushing over Laub, the offensive left guard, but this is what we call a coverage sack. The coverage by the backs brought about the possibility of the sack, and Crow did make a tremendous effort to get there.
Ralph Giacomo is in to punt for Penn State, averaging just under 42 yards per kick, and it's a beauty. A high hanger for Jimmy Harrow, back at his 22, up to his 26. 55-yard punt for Giacomo. 4 minutes and 6 seconds to play in the first quarter. And the Penn State Nittany Lions lead the Georgia with 4:06 remaining in the first quarter. 27-yard line of Georgia. Bulldogs have the ball. Walker the tailback, Lastinger the quarterback, McCarthy the fullback. Norris Brown the tight end. Kevin Harris the wide man. Penn State shows a 5-man front. Ball goes to the fullback, McCarthy. 3 yards to the 30. And among the most interested people, I would think, in this country would be the SMU Mustangs, who won their game today against Pittsburgh 7-3.
Let's watch linebacker Radisek, number 97. Linebackers are taught to read and react and then plug. That's a perfect illustration of what he's been taught and worked on all week long.
And from the 30, 2nd down and 7. McCarthy goes the other way, puts him out in front of Walker. Herschel cuts it back. Herschel gets nailed by 4 white shirts at the 32. Harry Hamilton, the strong safety, Frank, looks like that he has been assigned to Herschel.
Keith, that's what he's programmed for. There's a penalty for roughness right now that was dropped immediately. Officials had stopped the clock. Oh, both teams. There was a little scuffle going on around Walker. It was, I don't believe it was Walker.
Foul, personal foul on the offense and the defense. The down counts. 3rd down.
Let's watch and see if we can't pick it up. Ashley, number 37, and Weaver, number 63. I believe both of them lose their tempers. This is a team sport. You play by the rules. You don't get excited. Let the other fella get excited and get the penalty. Well, Weaver seems to retaliate a little bit on Walker, number 37.
And it's 3rd down and 4 for Georgia. Lastinger back. Gets his pass away. Pass is incomplete. He was thrown absolutely right on the hands of Herman Archie. And it's the 2nd time in the ball game that Herman Archie has had the ball in his hands and has tried to run before the ball got there.
Keith, that's too bad, because that would have been a critical 1st down, giving Georgia possession of the football for a while longer. He's wide open. 39 beyond him was in behind him, and Archie could have made more than just a completion. Could have run after the catch.
Jim Broadway comes in to do the punting, averaging right at 40 yards on his career. A little better than 40 on the season. Got to hurry. Lyons put some heat on him. Gets a pretty good kick out of there. Fair catch is called by Bow. Back at the 29-yard line of Penn State. 38-yard punt. Good hanger.
Keith, there was a chance of roughing the kicker, but the official did not call it.
And so 2:57 to go, first quarter. Get hit here, but watch the right leg. The kick is away now. Watch the leg come down.
He has protection as long as the kick is in the air. Excuse me, as long as his foot is in the air. I think it's illegal to touch him until his foot returns to the ground.
No flag. First down. Penn State 29. Lions lead 7-3. Blackledge gives to Warner. Kurt straight ahead. Gets about 3 up to near the 32. So it'll be second down and about 7. In the Cotton Bowl today, the SMU Mustangs remained undefeated on the season, beating Pittsburgh 7-3. Big day for Eric Dickerson. Big day for Dan Marino. In the Fiesta Bowl, Arizona State beating Oklahoma 32-21. And look at Dupree. Dupree goes for 239 yards, and he hurt his hamstring. He didn't play.
14-yard average.
Blackledge, Bambo, ball's loose. And it's recovered by Penn State back at the 17. Jimmy Payne, number 87.
Jimmy Payne has been a holy terror rushing the passer. He has the greatest knack of defeating the offensive blocker and penetrating. Watch him explode, close the gap. Penn State is very lucky that one of their players, I guess that's Williams, comes over and falls on it. What a play by Jimmy Payne, who has been injured for the last 5 weeks.
They didn't figure he'd play a whole lot in this ball game, but his first moment or two is certainly obvious, isn't it? And I think Payne might have jumped offside that time, or we could have had movement along the front for Penn State. Their penalty flags down. The loss was all the way back to the 17 from the 32 on the sack by Payne and the fumble by Blackledge, and here's the call. Offside against Georgia.
Keith, one thing that's critically important when you rush the passer, Jimmy Payne watches the ball and he tries to get the jump as the ball first moves, and he just was a little anxious. But it's in all of my time, I don't think I've seen anybody that's more effective at putting pressure on the passer without the blitz, just individual ability, than that young man, Jimmy Payne, number 87. All Southeastern Conference pick, is a sophomore and junior and is a senior.
Offside defense, third down.
And the ball is sitting at the 22. They've got to go to near the 40. Tom Ramsey had a big day for the UCLA Bruins as they beat Michigan 24-14 to win the Rose Bowl today. So it was a great season for Terry Donahue and his UCLA Bruins. Third down. And Blackledge on a deep drop. Goes deep with it, and it is incomplete. Oh, that was a heck of an effort. Upfield by Greg Garrity. Got his hands on it, but he couldn't bring it down. And so it'll be fourth down, and Penn State will punt.
Jeff Sanchez, the safety man. The emphasis on pass defense is breaking on the ball, changing the direction. Watch how far Sanchez, number 21. He's to the left of the screen. Watch, he comes all the way over. Number 21, and he puts his hands and shoulders and strips the ball free. Just a tremendous play. Young man intercepted 9 passes, second in the nation, behind Terry Hogue, Georgia's strong safety, who intercepted 12 this season.
Jock Tomorrow to punt. First punt in the ball game tonight was a 55-yarder. Jimmy Harrell brought it back 5 yards. Let's see what happens here. He's got it high. It's hanging. Harrell's going to try to come with it. One man, he loses the ball. And Georgia will keep it. Well, Jimmy had a pretty good move to find a little crease and some running room. The only thing was he forgot his luggage. Roger Alexander.
And that luggage is important. I know that Vince Dooley's stomach jumped right up in his throat. He's trying to sidestep, and someone there just stripped the ball. Alexander stripped the ball, and Georgia alertly falls on it. I believe it's young Terry Hogue, who's always around, and makes the big play for Georgia and has all season long. Consensus All-American.
Terry Hogue in his freshman year against Notre Dame, the year Georgia won its first national championship, blocked the field goal that helped ignite the drive to the touchdown that won the game. That's Herschel Walker carrying the ball. And he just slips and slides and glides through there for about 5.5 yards before Harry Hamilton again makes the stop, the strong safety.
Georgia uses a different blocking scheme than any football team that I have seen in my time. They block every man on the line of scrimmage. No one releases, even though Herschel may be running to the right. The left side stays in so that Herschel can come back if he wants to.
2nd down and 5. Walker again, caught behind the line of scrimmage by Walker Lee Ashley. Walker Lee Ashley played linebacker last year, started out this year at the defensive left end position, but he plays better at the right end position.
He's the power end, and he makes a great play. Watch him change direction. As soon as he sees Walker cutting inside, he leaves his feet, grabs the ankles of Walker, and brings him down.
And the first quarter is over in this 49th Sugar Bowl game at the Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. And after 15 minutes of play, the ball has gone up and down the field. And the Nittany Lions of Penn State lead the Georgia Bulldogs in the second quarter of this 49th Sugar Bowl game from the Superdome in New Orleans, with Penn State leading Georgia 7-3. The Georgia Bulldogs have the football at their own 42, 3rd down and 4. Melvin Simmons, number 28, wide man to the top of the picture. Herschel Walker, the tailback. He's got it. Going for the sidelines, and he's got a whole lot of folks wearing white, including Harry Hamilton, 17, and Joe Hines, 52. And so Georgia will have to punt it.
Well, the numbers of the first quarter prove that the offenses can move the ball, but the amazing thing, Penn State is -22 because of the sacks, rushing, and 90 passing. Georgia on the hand, just reversed. Rushing leads the passing. About what we expected.
Jim Broadway in to punt. First kick tonight, 38 yards. Kevin Bow, deep man for Penn State. This time Broadway gets it out of there without a whole lot of pressure. Not a very good kick. A low line drive, and Bow slips and spins and comes back with that 35-yard punt, about 8 yards. And Penn State will start first down from their own 32.
Keith, one thing that we coaches sometimes fear is scoring too easily on your first drive. You get the idea, your team, that is, gets the idea, well, hey, we're going to score a lot of points. It's going to be easy. And sometimes you kind of go into a state of shock when you don't score the second, third time. And that's what's happened to Penn State. Georgia made some adjustments, and they've shut Penn State down on the next 2 possessions.
So I'm trying to look in here and see whether or not Jimmy Payne is out there on the field. Georgia steps in there. Tommy Thurston steps in and calls timeout. Payne was not out there.
Georgia only had 10 players.
10 players, yeah. Well, maybe that's why. Payne should have been out there. 14:15 to go in the first half. Georgia will take the time. 14:15 to go in the first half. Penn State leading Georgia 7-3. Jimmy Payne was not the missing party. He's still not out there, but now Georgia has 11 people on the field to play Penn State. And the Lions will come up first down from their own 32. That's Kenny Jackson in motion coming into the picture. Blackledge back to throw. No pressure. Down he goes. Great catch by Jackson at the Georgia 45. Whoa, what a catch that was.
The Penn State passing attack has time needs, 3 to 3.5 seconds, because their receivers are running deeper than the linebackers dare drop, because the linebackers have to support on the nickel and dime passes. Watch number 82, Jackson, turn to find eye contact and make the play. Gilbert, number 90, is the next to Payne, is the next best rusher the Georgia team has. He finally gets back there and tackles Blackledge, but not until the pass had been thrown and completed.
And first down at the Georgia 45 for the Lions. Jackson again goes in motion, and Todd Blackledge drops to throw it. He's trying to set up a screen for Johnny Williams. He's got that screen working now, but the Bulldogs penetrate it, and there's a loss on the play of 2. Coming through was Jeff Sanchez, number 31, to make the stop. Also Kenneth Sims, number 57, a linebacker.
Linebackers have got to play the screen. That's the thing that worries any coach who's trying to get pressure on the passer, and then when they call the screen, come on, linebackers, get there. And he did. You can see where the drives began, the length and result of Penn State. Success on the first one, failure the second, third possession.
Blackledge 7 out of 9 for 111 yards. Second down and 12. Ball goes to Kurt Warner. Gets around the corner. Cuts it back. Great run by Warner. First down, Lions inside the Georgia 25 to the 21.
Joe Paterno has said that Kurt Warner is as good as any back that he's ever coached. And you get a clear indication of why Joe feels that. He has the move to go away from the defender. He has the speed. He's going to get a great block from Ron Heller, number 78. Heller's going to block the cornerback out. Watch him right there. Sets him up, and Warner sets the block up and breaks back inside. And Georgia finally pulls him down, but not after a long game.
First down for the Lions, Georgia 21. Blackledge looks right. Goes over the middle, post pattern, Garrettino, thrown too long. On first down plays, Frank, here's a very revealing little piece of information. On first down plays in this ball game to this point, Penn State is averaging a little better than 11 yards per first down play. Georgia only 3.
Penn State is throwing a lot on first down, but let's watch the Penn State offense, what Blackledge and Warner have done. This is a major key. Watch this. They passed for 241 yards. Warner only rushed for 52. That's the first 5 ball games. When the offensive line gained credibility and effectiveness, they switched over and began to run the football and pass less.
Jimmy Penn is now in to put some heat on the passer if they can find a way to get him through there. Second down and 10. Ball given to Warner. Warner dancing around looking for daylight and didn't find any. Terry Hogue. Warner had juked him and gotten past Hogue on the previous play and made a big gain out of it. This time, Hogue nailed him.
One thing that Georgia defense does very effectively is that's pursue up and down the line. That's the strength of their defense, is the speed, the quickness when the teams run wide. That was a clear indication of why Georgia's had success with their defense over the years. They're 4th in the nation against scoring, allowing 12.
Ron Heller shaken up there. The 6'6", 248-pound junior from Farmingdale, New York, is going to leave the ball game. But he's walking off under his own. He's turned out to be quite an author. He's been keeping the daily diary for the folks at home.
He was a tight end and has moved to offensive tackle and had a fine senior year.
It is third down and 10. The ball is on the Georgia 21. Jackson and Garrity are both wide left. Jackson going back toward the ball. Now going to turn come this way. They're both going the same direction. Look out. Looped out, and it's incomplete. Kirk Bowman, the tight end, was actually the closest man to the ball as Tommy Thurston was coming hard and made Blackledge get rid of it.
As I've said before, and Keith and we've talked about, the one thing that Penn State has had trouble with on few occasions is pass protection. Here's a perfect example. Their patterns are deep and long down the field. Require 3 or 3.5 seconds. Thurston, the linebacker, fired, forced the throw, and a bad throw, and it goes incomplete.
Nick Gonchitano now in for a 37-yard field goal try. He's kicked for 56 points. From this distance, he's 3 out of 4 this year. The kick is plenty long, and the kick is good. With 11 minutes and 47 seconds to play in the first half here at the Sugar Bowl, the Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. The Nittany Lions take a 10-3 lead over the Georgia Bulldogs. Timeout. Penn State will kick off now to the Georgia Bulldogs, leading by 7 points, 10-3. There's the time remaining, 11:47 in the first half. Jimmy Harrell and Keith Montgomery are the deep people for Georgia. As Massimo Monca hits the ball and hangs it high for Harrell. A yard deep in the end zone, he's coming out. Whoa, fumbles the ball, goes out of bounds. My goodness, he took a whack. And the ball tumbles out of bounds up around the 17. Georgia keeps it. Rogers Alexander, number 95, is the man who's going to knock it loose. Watch this hit.
The headgear went right on the football, and the force of the headgear, there was no way that Harrell could hold on to the ball. Georgia's lucky that it went all the way out of bounds before Penn State could recover it.
Bulldogs will start at their own 17. Lions going 47 yards in 7 plays. They get their field goal from 37 yards. Double wide, top of the picture for Georgia. Walker, up the middle he comes. He's up to about the 20. Give him 3. Ken Kelly, number 98, helps him to his feet.
Georgia.
The Professional Bowlers Tour, Saturday, January 15, returning for its 22nd consecutive season on ABC Sports, live at 5 Eastern Time. It will not be live on the West Coast. Chris Schenkel, the host. one of the most successful sports television programs in the history of this business. Here's Lastinger rolling left, throwing to the sideline. Pass incomplete. Pass intended for Chuck Jones, the flanker. It is at the flanker position that Georgia, I think, really has been hurt this year. They just simply couldn't find, Frank, the kind of speed that they had had previous years.
I think that Lastinger's passing percentage is a true indication of that, because the defensive backs will squat on your wide receivers and not worry about going deep, and there's no room to throw the ball. Lastinger is 1 out of 5 for 16 yards so far. If we look at Vince Dooley and his record, 3 consecutive Southeast Conference championships, 33-2.
Third down and about 7. That's McCarthy, the fullback. Lastinger rolls it that way. Walker throws a good block for him. Lastinger gets up the middle and tries to dive for the marker. He is at the 27. He is close.
It's going to be, it depends upon the spot. If he marks it to the yard line, it's going to be a first down, but I believe he's just, well, it's going to be very close, as you said. A good decision by Lastinger. The receivers were covered. You don't take a chance trailing by 7 points. You can always punt it away and let your defense get the ball back for you.
Good. First down.
Critical play by Lastinger. Good judgment on his part.
Georgia keeps possession of it at 10:24 to go in the first half. First down, their own 27. Jones is out at the flanker spot, number 1. In to replace him is Kevin Harris, number 20. They lined up in there now with both tight ends, Kay and Brown. Give the ball to Herschel Walker, and there's nothing there. I mean, nothing there. Walker Lee Ashley, Scott Radisek, and Harry Hamilton.
Walker Lee Ashley is 6 feet, weighs 230 pounds, and on this particular play, watch him use his hands. Puts them on the headgear of Harper, number 75. Doesn't lose sight of the ball carrier. Now he separates himself from the blocker, which is the mark of a great football player. And Walker Lee Ashley has been sensational for the last 2 years for the Penn State Nittany Lions.
Herschel now 12 carries and 45 yards in the ball game. Penn State's pretty well controlled him so far. Lions lead 10-3. And Lastinger back to throw. Has time. Goes short over the middle from Clarence Kay. Second reception by Kay. Just short on first down. Depending again on the mark. Greg Gattuso brought him down. They may have marked him far enough to give him a first down.
Oh, Clarence Kay stretched that body out.
He really did.
He got about an extra 2 feet, but that's thinking. That's the presence of mind. And Clarence Kay is really one of the most physical football players that Georgia has had in a long time. The coaches tell me he could be a starting guard for Nebraska, Southern Cal, or anybody, and he plays tight end for Georgia.
Mark, that's the 38 now, where it's first down Bulldogs. Double wide to the right side, and they're going that way with it. Look out. Oh, look out. Biondi had an idea, didn't he? The pass coming in the direction of Melvin Simmons and little Dan Biondi. He's only 5'8", but weighs 170 pounds, and he is well strung together. He was really hunting that thing.
Keith, he guessed exactly. He took a chance. He knew for somehow exactly what the play was, and if he just played the ball, he would have intercepted it going in the other direction for the Nittany Lions. Great play by number 39. The smallest player on the squad, a walk-on, but it's Leonard. This is his 4th year.
It's a tough little one. Second down and 10. That's Walker kicking his way. And again, Walker Lee Ashley played the blocking very well, slowed it up, and then Dave Ofer trailing the play, and they bring him down.
Penn State's defense is the most unusual alignment that I have seen in my time in coaching. They only have 2 down linemen. That's Gattuso and Ofer. The rest of the people are standing up on most of the plays in what we call a radar position, where they can see and work up and down the line. Occasionally, Ashley and Scepter will get down in the 4-point stance.
On third down, pressure zone. Lastinger lobs it over the middle. It is incomplete. Pass intended for Simmons. Lastinger had a little more time. He would have seen Clarence Kay deep and free. But Penn State was able to generate enough pressure, forcing him to go to the short receiver. Now Georgia will have to kick it on 4th down and 7. 38 and 35 in the two previous punts by Broadway.
We get how each team has gotten their first downs, about like we expect in any case. And Georgia going to press the run, Penn State press the pass.
Broadway a little better this time, gets it to turn over, runs by all the way back inside the 10, back to the 7, gets one good block, gets it back upfield, and look out. Look out. It's a foot race. And Broadway, the punter, slows him down, and the pursuers finally get him. Clarence Kay finally ran him down. But Kevin Bow almost blew that one wide open.
Kevin Bow is one of the top premier punt returners in America, 10.8 average, and you can see why. Look at the move. Young man had a knee operation in 1980, missed most of the 81 season, but look at the blocking. Right there, Papenroth, number 33. Georgia had a great play there by the kicker, I guess that is. Yes. Yeah, Broadway slows him down enough for Kay to bring him and make the play.
It was a 52-yard punt, but a 65-yard return. That's deficit financing. Kurt Warner in the middle. And again, good yardage by Warner.
Well, Georgia in this position on the field is going to have to gamble, trailing by 7 with their defense. They're going to have to blitz, try to create some confusion, get a turnover. They lead the nation they're second in the nation in turnover margin, 2 per game, 35 interceptions, 11 fumbles. Penn State has not turned it over today.
Will Forts came off the field a little while ago hobbling. Nate Taylor is in there at a linebacker spot. Will has not come back for this defensive series. And the play to Joel Coles, he is caught behind the line of scrimmage, and that time Jimmy Payne and his friend Mr. Gilbert, they loaded it up.
Payne, number 87, is going to penetrate the gap, the quickness. And as soon as he recognizes the play, he just takes on the blocker. Spears, number 56, dives recklessly into the feet of Coles, the fullback, and it's a loss. Georgia is so effective in critical situations and throwing the opponents for a loss.
Knox Culpepper, a sophomore linebacker, was in for a piece of that action as well. The ball is back at the 25, where it is 3rd down and 8. And number 81, McCluskey, Big Mike, jumping offside. So that'll back the Lions up 5.
Keith, we have Freddie Gilbert, a defensive tackle, and we also have Jimmy Payne, a defensive tackle, in the ball game. Those are the 2 premier rushers, and Georgia needs to apply some pressure with a 4-man rush.
Illegal procedure, movement on the line, offense, 3rd down.
Number 59, Jack Lindsey, a defensive tackle, has gone in, a senior for Georgia.
And Jack Lindsey has been injured most of the season. He's back in there now. Missed all since the 2nd game.
That's the first penalty on Penn State in the ball game. 3rd down, about 13. All this just outside the 30. Blackledge stand up, loop to the sidelines, incomplete, intended for Greg Garrity, covering Terry Hogue. Garrity was in the bump with Hogue, was knocked off the field of play. He's protesting now, but
well, this is good pass defense, Keith. You're allowed to push the receiver with your hands one time as long as he's in front of you, and that is a good play in my judgment. Hogue makes the play, disrupting the pass pattern. Breaking the timing is very important when you play a team as effective with a passing game as Penn State is.
4th down, field goal time. Here's Conchitano. He's hit one from 37. Now he's going to try one from 47. And from that distance, he's 2 out of 3 on the season. Nick's got it in the air. He's got enough leg on it. Hooked it left. So the Georgia defense comes bounding off the field, heartened by the fact that they turned the Lions away with 6 minutes and 22 seconds to play in the first half. That may well turn out to be a big moment in the ball game. We'll just have to wait a long time, obviously, to see. But here is the Georgia defense starting to get the wobbles for a moment against Penn State. But they were able to come up with that one big play, and again, Payne was involved in it, and Georgia takes over the ball after the missed field goal opportunity, 1st down at their own 30. And it's Walker blowing it up the middle, and Herschel pounding away, gets it across the 40 and out to a 1st down, picked up about 12 yards.
What we saw was a change in their play selection.
He wears a padding on his back. You might have seen him when the fellow picked him up there. That is put there to keep he's got too many helmets in the small of the back.
when he's twisting and turning and fighting for extra yardage. But Herschel had been going wide on the last play. He ran right at the Penn State defense, and I think that's the weakness of it.
Here's Lastinger handing the ball off. It's popped loose in there and bounding around. Looks like a red shirt may have covered it. The fullback and Herschel Walker both involved in the play, and the ball came loose. And it looks like number 78 was the man that covered it. That'll be Winford Hood.
See if we can detect what happened with his faulty ball handling. It's the option play. The fullback, yeah. Well, fullback McCarthy is coming out with the football. Now number 97, Radisek. He just, no, number 55.
55 knocked it loose. That was Roger Puz.
Roger Puz pulled it out. Georgia was lucky to get it back.
And Walker dives it over the middle on 2nd down and 9. Gets about a yard, maybe 2. Lastinger's getting pretty good at the belly. He bellies the ball to the fullback and then takes it out and gives it outside to Walker. But once in a while he's leaving it in there, and once in a while it's working for them as Uga takes a deep breath on the sidelines.
Keep it in 3rd and long, which is not the position Georgia wants to put themselves in with very little passing attack.
Great play defensively for Penn State by Mark Robinson. Had the man over there. It was Broadway. No, it wasn't either. It was Kay.
Watch Robinson make a sensational play. He's coming all the way from free safety. Watch him come all the way and picking up the tight end Kay right there. And it's going to be just by the length of his hand that he knocks the ball down. Look at, he deflects it. All he does, and Kay couldn't change and handle it.
Nobody between Kay and the goal line.
He would have scored, Keith. He would have.
Nobody down there. All right, Broadway comes in now. 38, 35, and 52 on his 3 punch. And that's a pretty good hanger as well. Bow, who had a big return the last time, on his way again. Comes back out to the 34, 45-yard punt, and brought down by Barry Young for the Bulldogs. And Penn sitting on a 7-point lead over Georgia. Lions have the ball in between the 34 and 35 markers. And Todd Blackledge sets him up double wide, drops back to throw it. Going deep down the sidelines, he's got Garrity, and Garrity has got a first down for Penn State at the Georgia 30. Ronnie Harris, the left corner, got beat on the play.
Garrett is going to run right by Hogue, who has the short coverage, but Georgia is in a 2-deep defense again. Hogue is going to collision him. The safety man is all the way inside. He's pushed out of bounds, but as long as he tries to get back in bounds immediately, that's legal. Harris has to come all the way across and make the play, but not before the big gain.
147 yards for Penn State in the ball game, a net of 7 on the ground. So it's the Air Force of the Lions that's working for them right now. 4.5 minutes to go in the first half. Ball just inside the Georgia 30. John Williams. And Johnny muscles his way inside the 20 to the 18 before Jeff Sanchez brings him down. Jeff came in from junior college out in Yorba Linda, California. A free safety for Georgia, and we've got a Penn State man shaken up on the play. Dave Laub, the tackle, number 60. Big senior from Fair Lawn, New Jersey. McGinnis has been sore, but came up able to play for the ball game, though I didn't think that Joe wanted him to play the whole game. And now Dave Laub leaves for a moment, but he's big enough. He'll be back.
Keith, on that last play, we saw the versatility of the Penn State offense, giving the ball to fullback Williams, and he came close to breaking for the touchdown. There are the numbers, rushing and passing for Penn State and Georgia, the comparisons.
First down. Georgia 18. Blackledge gives it to Warner, and Kurt is close to the 15. He is really blowing in there, isn't he?
Keith, he is. I'd hate to be calling defensive signals to try to decide whether I'm going to play against the run or the pass in this football team, or whether I'm going to blitz or whether I'm going to defend. Georgia has had very little success getting any rush on the passer with a 4-man rushing. Seems like they're going to have to blitz and blitz and blitz, and that's dangerous, risky.
They've got Garrity wide left. They've got Kevin Ball to the top of the picture. Williams, the lone remaining back, and they got Warner up in a slot. Last time we saw him in that position, he scored against Notre Dame, and he's going out as a receiver, but it's Williams getting the ball as the lone remaining back and going inside the 10, close to the 8, before Nate Taylor brings him down.
Well, Kontz and Spiros, the left tackle and left guard, are going to open up some kind of hole. Watch Spiros block the linebacker. Kontz pushes into the inside Gilbert. Look at the hole. Tremendous blocking by the, and on the goal line, nearly the goal line area. That's just outstanding by the Penn State offensive line.
Now here's something that could be almost bewildering. Total yards for Penn State, 175. But of that 175 yards, Frank, they picked up 167 on first down.
That's incredible.
Penalty flags. Kurt Warner with the ball. He's in the end zone. Hang on. Penalty flag. Back at the 10. Offside. Defense. Decline. Touchdown. Penn State. With 2:43 to go in the first half. Stick it in the end zone. Second touchdown for Kurt Warner. Josh Vitano's extra point kick is good. And it's a 16-17-3 Penn State lead with 2:43 to go as the Lions take it 65 yards in 5 plays.
Let's look at the replay from behind the defense, behind the offense, excuse me. Right behind. Watch the blocking. Watch Warner as he gets the ball, starts outside, nothing there, plants the foot. Look at the strength of the legs. Watch the cutting ability. Watch him start. Back up after he hesitates. Gilbert does not make the play number 9. Now from behind the defense. Watch the blocking. You at home can see exactly what Warner saw. They didn't make the cut. As he comes back inside of the Georgia pursuit, Taylor, number 47, gets blocked. Look at the hole again. Outstanding work by the offensive line. It was rebuilt by Dick Anderson, the offensive line coach for Penn State, from large graduation losses of last season.
Penn State now lining up to kick it off and going deep for Georgia. Herschel Walker. He is going back to return this kick. It is the first time in this game that we've seen it. The reason for that, as much as anything, the fact that Carney Norris got caught a little short on his curfew and is not suited up for the ball game. So Walker is back there to return the kickoff. Georgia needs field position with 2:43 to go in the first half and down by 14 points. Kind of make you swallow a little hard, Frank, when you put your prize back there like that, because there's so many bodies flying through the air, going at full speed, and Penn State wants nothing to do with Herschel Walker carrying the ball. Oh, what a mistake that was by Keith Montgomery, the freshman, coming across instead of letting the ball go out of bounds and Penn State having to kick it over after a 5-yard penalty. The youngster went over and tried to pick it up, touched the ball, it goes out of bounds, and here's Georgia. I just got through saying they needed good field position, and the kid knocks it out of bounds on the 8-yard line.
Keith, you're exactly right. The impetus was the kick, and the ball goes on out of bounds. Even though I believe Georgia, one of the up men, had touched the ball, it would still be brought back.
Well,
this is not where Georgia wants to start. They're going to have to throw some to set up the...
Well, they try the fullback, and McCarthy is just eaten up by Greg Gattuso.
Greg Gattuso, number 70, was a fullback in high school and a linebacker, as we've seen so many times. But look at these impressive numbers. What a diversified offense Penn State has shown, going the distance, 65 yards in such a short time. Very quick, explosive offense that can score from anywhere.
Second down and 12. The ball is back at the 6. And Walker with it is to the 10, close to the 11. Walker, Lee Ashley, and Harry Hamilton.
Walker Lee Ashley is having a sensational game. Number 37, standing up in a
Clarence K, number 84, is one of the best blockers that Georgia has. But all that Ashley wants to do is just keep his feet so that once Herschel makes the cut, he can separate himself from the blocker and make the play.
Third down, 8. Georgia's 3 out of 7 on third down conversions. Going to run it with Walker, and they're not going to get the first down. So Broadway's going to have to come on and punt the ball. At Penn State, with about 1:20 or so to play in the first half, should have a very good field position if they handle it all right.
And Penn State takes a very quick timeout to save as much time on the clock. And the way they've been completing passes, they are definitely a threat to score again in this half unless Georgia can make the big play.
So the Lions will take the full timeout and talk things over. 1:24 to go in the first half. They're leading by 14 and looking for some more.
When people pump their own gas.
Jim Broadway is on the field now to punt for Georgia on 4th down and 5. 4 kicks, he's averaging 45 yards. A little less than a minute and a half to play in the first half. Broadway is going to hit it on around the 2. We watch it from the end zone. Oh, hit it up near the 4. Hangs it up near midfield for Bow. Oh, he is a gambler. He just doesn't believe in sticking the arm up and saying, hey, save my body from misery. He's trying to break the big one. He almost did a moment ago, and he almost popped out with that one.
Watch the wall of blockers. Robinson and number 43, they're protecting him, giving him time. You see 3 white shirts that are giving him a chance. That, I would say, I've seen that punt return used many times, Keith. That's what we did. We dropped 3 men to give the receiver a chance to get started. It's a good scheme.
And here's Penn State, first down at the Georgia 44 with 1:14 to play in the first half. Blackledge back quickly. Goes short to the tight end, McCluskey. McCluskey breaks away from Sanchez and then steps out of bounds. But I think in fact, he does have a first down.
I want to commend Joe Paterno for the strategy. He came in this ball game. He was going to win. He felt like he had the advantage with speed receivers over the Georgia secondary. And you can see the blitz was on. And Sanchez, the free safety, was late coming up and trying to cover the tight end McCloskey. And McCloskey gets away from him for that reason after the completion for extra yardage.
Blackledge again. Now he's getting a little heat. Trying to set up a screen. Johnny Williams never got a hand on it. John could never quite get a hold of it. Incomplete forward pass. Will Forts has a sprained ankle. We may not see him. At least not in this half. This is what we have for you at halftime. We'll see both fans talk with both coaches and have the 1982 Chevrolet Most Valuable Offensive Player Award and check the news about the world.
Keith Williams, the fullback, injured his ankle and left the game. Cole's replacing him.
Joel Cole. They've got Warner up in the slot. Give the ball instead to Coles, and Coles is caught at the line of scrimmage by Crow, and Jim Crow rides him down. Jimmy got him at the 31, and Joel was able to drag him along for a couple of yards to about the 28.
That was a real surprise call with less than a minute to play, and the way they've been throwing the football, and Georgia's had very little success defending against it. You would think that they would go for what they've been doing all year, 70% of the time throwing on second and long.
55 seconds to play in the first half. ABC's Wide World of Sports. Harlem Globetrotters coming to New York. Return to the big city. Work out with the Rockettes, go to Harlem, and have a lot of fun. Then the men's World Cup downhill skiing. The world's best skiers at Hahnenkamm in Kitzbühel. ABC's Wide World of Sports starting big for 1983 at 5 Eastern Time. There are the officials talking now with Coach Vince Dooley of the University of Georgia. Penn State has 1 timeout remaining.
Keith, Georgia's got to decide, do we blitz on 3rd and 8 and take the chance on throwing him for a loss, and yet we have to play man for man in the secondary, or do we try to get a rush with 4 men and try to cover them? That's a big decision, and it's a critical decision right now.
I don't believe Georgia's defensive unit is going to handle Penn State unless they gamble. They're going to have to gamble.
Here they come with a blitz. At least they're showing the blitz.
They're showing it. And they're coming. Oh, they're coming. Gets it off, and it is incomplete. There were two of them. Tommy Thurston, number 60, was the man that had a hold of him. But there were four of them coming. Dale Carver, 96, was coming from the outside, and then Thurston took the inside route.
This is the advantage of having a quarterback who's big and strong. He takes the tackles, doesn't go down. Watch Carver, number 96. He has Thurston right there, number 48.
Culpepper.
Yes, Culpepper. But he doesn't go down. He finally gets rid, and that's the difference of 15 yards on the field goal attempt.
Conchitano, 45-yard attempt. It's up. Plenty of leg. It's good. Doug Sprang gave him a perfect hold, and Nick Conchitano nails it. Seconds to go in the first half, and the Lions lead 20-3, and that is the longest field goal of Conchitano's career. He's only a sophomore. His longest prior to that one was 41. That one was for 45.
Well, let's talk about Georgia's offense, or the lack of passing. Very definitely, we coaches can fully appreciate as we look at the reaction of the kicker and the holder. Conchitano, he's a happy young man, being congratulated. Picking his tee up before he even got the signal. But Georgia has, sooner or later, the absence of passing will make your running counterproductive. And that's what's happened in this second quarter. Once Penn State could shut down the passing, they can concentrate and think run with the linebackers, think run with the defensive end. Everybody think run. Safety man Robinson up tackling on the line of scrimmage. Very, very difficult to move the ball. Joe Paterno, I know he's very proud. There he is in the bowl games, and I might mention that in 3 previous Sugar Bowl games, Joe Paterno has lost all 3 of them, scored only 1 touchdown in the 3 games. Now he has, what, 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals in the first half.
Here's the kickoff for the Lions, and Herschel Walker among those back there to receive it. And this time, Keith Montgomery lets it go out of bounds.
Keith, the strategy that Penn State is using, what we call a deep onside kick. Kick the ball high and across the field, hoping that the defensive man the receiving back will come up and catch it. If not, one of your men running down the right side might recover it. A deep onside kick and keeping the ball away from Herschel at the same time.
Of course, no time expired. Nobody touched the ball. 44 seconds to go. Penn State out to a 20-3 lead. That's Walker at the bottom of the picture and Keith Montgomery at the top. Montgomery is a flyer. And in the returns, he's averaged a little better than 21. Herschel, of course, you know all about him. He's returned 2 kickoffs this year for an 18-yard average, but young Montgomery is the one that's been whittling and sharpening his teeth on the kick return. So let's see if Penn State, you know they don't want to kick it to Herschel, but they might.
Keith, I believe I'm correct in saying this is the first time all season long that Georgia has been behind more than 1 touchdown.
They do have a problem right now, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Well, it's Montgomery. No, it is Walker. Here he comes. Looking for a block on the sidelines. Out of bounds. He's out of bounds up around the up around the 35 when the Penn State kicker, Monka, started forward. Walker and Montgomery reversed positions on the field, so Herschel wound up with it. And he got a decent return out of it. He got it up to the 34. 39 seconds to go in the first half.
Georgia's got a lot of work to do in changing their strategy and responding at this situation during the halftime.
Lastinger passes away. Good to Kay. Caught at midfield. Tumbles on the Penn State side of it. Georgia with 2 timeouts remaining, stopping the clock. 32 seconds to play in the first half. So Georgia spends a timeout as we take another look.
Kay goes right out in the flat. Penn State is trying to to concede the short pass, cover deep. Number 84, Clarence Kay, catches the ball. He's a big, strong youngster, 235 pounds, good runner with the ball, made a great run against Clemson to set up their second field goal. Radisek, the linebacker, comes over and makes the play. That's the third completion for Lastinger in the ball game out of 10 attempts.
And he had the one play where he overthrew Kay in the end zone when he was wide open. Could have had a touchdown instead of the 3 points.
I think we should point out this graphic that Georgia has been an outstanding second half team, and the reason I think that they have is that when you press the running game, you seem to wear the opponents out, and those short gains become long gains. Georgia's going to have to think about this strategy and make some very critical and maybe reversal types of decisions during the halftime and what they normally would do.
The football is sitting just over midfield on the Penn State side. Radisek had gone to the sidelines to talk to the Penn State defensive coaches. And he's come back now. And here comes Georgia. Herman Archie, who has had 2 passes on his hands and dropped both so far, is the wide man. Lastinger's pass is away. The pass is incomplete, intended for Clarence Kay. They had Kay out there, and Frank, they had exactly what they wanted. They had Biondi, who's 5'8", out there against Clarence Kay, who's 6'3", 225. Archie had turned back inside and put a block on a man, so they had the matchup they wanted. They just couldn't get the ball.
Well, you're going to see that Lastinger is coming too wide. He runs right into Herschel Walker, and therefore he thinks, well, I better get rid of the ball. Kay's wide open, rather than calm himself and hit him, because Clay, as Keith said, was wide open.
Second down, 10, 29 seconds to go. Pass is away. The pass is caught. And it's good for a first down at the Penn State 36, and that stops the clock at 23 seconds to go in the first half. And the clock will resume unless Georgia spends its last timeout when they've got the change down, and Georgia does call timeout. So the Bulldogs now have none left.
Archie, number 81, is just a freshman. He's probably the fastest of the wide receivers for Georgia. Once again, Penn State is conceding the short pass. The ball is right on the money. Radisek, number 97, comes over and makes the play. Biondi had missed him, had missed the tackle. Radisek saved the possible touchdown. Now, we must remember that Kevin Butler has the leg, the strength to kick a field goal. Should Georgia get stopped here, they can always, they should think about a field goal. Butler can kick it from 50, 60 yards.
Well, they've got 23 seconds, so you figure they got 3 snaps if they had a timeout to spend. So they're going to have to waste some of that time for an incomplete forward pass in order to stop the clock. So let's assume if they don't have any particular success to the sidelines on this play, then they'll have to hurry a play in order to stop the clock and give Butler a shot at it.
Chief, we mentioned and you brought out that Georgia has been a one-dimension offense by choice and by the ability. The shoulders, this ball game is going to rest not on Herschel Walker, in my judgment, his shoulders, but on the ones of John Lastinger, the quarterback, in that second half.
Well, there's the pass. The pass is flipped out to Walker, and Walker is tumbled down at the 10.
The flea flicker. How about that?
Kevin Harris to Herschel Walker.
You're going to...
It's right on the 10.
Georgia, this is a beautiful play. We remember that Oklahoma beat Nebraska for the championship a few years ago. The quick hurl pass to the end and the lateral to Herschel.
10 seconds to go. Loop to the corner. It is touchdown. A touchdown to Herman Archie. Can you believe it? Penn State would go to the clubhouse with a 20-3 lead at halftime, dominating the ball game. But then all of a sudden, bang, bang, here's Georgia threatening, and then they work the play to Harris, to Walker, and with no timeouts remaining, stick at the end zone on the reception by Archie with 5 seconds to go. They went 6 to 6 yards in 39 seconds. The kick is good. Oh, Frank, that's dynamite to have somebody strike you like that just at halftime.
Oh, it can mean a big difference to your momentum coming out of the ball game. It will make a big difference. Let's watch the Archie, number 81. you're going to see the fade pattern. It's a one-on-one, anticipating, and you get the mismatch. Beyond is the smallest player. Archer is 6'5". Archer is 6'5". Watch him use the advantage of the height. Look how high he goes up. Beyond had no chance. That is good strategy, good signal calling. Give credit to the Georgia coaching staff and the execution by last thing of the quarterback. That will help that young man right there, number 12. Look at him. That will give him tremendous confidence. It'll boost his morale going into the second half. Let's look at it again. It's a sensational play. Remember, Georgia had no more timeouts. Less than 20 seconds on the clock. The ball has to be thrown in the minute that Archer leaves the line of scrimmage. The fade route to his outside shoulder. And the mismatch. It was perfect. It's set up perfect, Keith. Don't know of anything that I've seen set up any better in many, many times.
Well, that portends some excitement for the second half.
Boy, the Georgia partisans have been very, very quiet up until right now.
5 seconds to go. 20-10, Penn State. Butler will kick off. Nails it. Bow fumbles it at the 5. He's down at the 16, and the half is over. Now here's Jim Lampley.
Joe, until just a few minutes ago, I was getting ready to congratulate you on a near-perfect first half. I'm sure that Georgia drive coming at the moment it did was the last thing you wanted to see.
Well, you know, Georgia's a very fine football team, and that was a great drive. They're not going to die easily, and I think it's a great football game. Everybody ought to be enjoying it. We got to go back in there now and suck it up and make sure we don't let that momentum get carried away. But we played a good, solid first half, and they made a couple of big plays on that drive, but we'll be all right.
Any specific changes you see that you may have to make, perhaps?
We just got to stay with what we're doing, and we'll be all right. We'll make a couple of little...
Okay, don't let them get complacent. I'm sure they won't after that last drive. Joe Paterno, the coach of the Penn State Nittany Lions. So, it is halftime now in the Superdome, with Penn State leading top-ranked Georgia 20-10. We'll be back with halftime activities after this message and a word from our local station.
Speed, speed, speed. The play was designed inside, but Joel Coles, number 20, makes...
Because now I think we're back into the football game when a while ago we might have been out of the football game. We got to cover punch better. We got to play better. We got a chance. We're still in it.
Have you changed any blocking schemes or anything else on offense to try to get Herschel a little more freedom?
No, we just need to go at him a little more straight at him and do a better job of blocking. We've been missing some assignments, making some bad calls. We need to simplify things, which we'll try to do in the second half.
You seem to be anxious to try to get the ball to Clarence Kay with some matchups against their defensive backs. Will we see more of that?
Well, Clarence is a good receiver. We'll throw to him. We also, Herman Archie made a fine catch, and I hope we can take the ball and be able to move it on the ground and not have to be in a position where we're desperate to throw, which is what we got into. We're in it. We got a chance.
Good luck. Thanks very much, Vince Dooley. Now back up to Keith Jackson and Frank Broyles.
And this 1983 Sugar Bowl game, Georgia-Penn State, brought to you by Chevrolet. Chevrolet is USA 1. USA 1 is taking charge. By U.S. Armed Forces, it's a great place to start. And by Mr. Goodwrench at General Motors Parts, who help you keep that great GM feeling with genuine GM parts. Well, Frank Broyles? That's the fellow who was leading the cheers across the world. How about them dogs a couple of years ago, wasn't it?
Yes, it did. I believe that's correct. Yeah. I was impressed with Vince Dooley's remarks. I think he's exactly right. He's got to move the ball and stay in this ball game where they don't have to get into passing situations and desperate.
Massimo Manco will kick it off now for Penn State. Herschel Walker and Keith Montgomery are the deep people to receive as we go with the second half of play. And they still won't give it to Herschel. It's bobbled around, and it is picked up by McCarthy, the fullback. And Chris gets it up across the 35 out to around the 36, maybe the 37. We'll see where exactly they put the markers down as we open with Lastinger, Walker, Chris McCarthy at fullback, who just returned that kick, Chuck Jones and Kevin Harris. The offensive front, Harper, Weaver, Radloff, Brown, McIntyre, and Norris Brown. With a lot of the time, you've got your double tight end alignment in there with Clarence Kay at one end and Norris Brown at the other. And now you've got Chuck Jones, who just run out of your picture as a wide man. Penn State is showing a 5-man defensive front right now. And penalty flags fly on it as contact was made along the line of scrimmage. So we'll see what that's about. It's going to be a procedure call against Georgia. Bulldogs were not set. Here's the secondary defensively for Penn State. That's a whole bunch of them there. And we zero in on 5'8", 170-pound Dan Biondi, 4-year letterman.
Ball foul. Moving
Roger Jackson, the cornerback.
First down.
And Harry Hamilton, whose name we've called a lot tonight. Mark Robinson, who's made 2 big plays for Penn State, is your free safety, with Harry Hamilton being your strong safety. So it's first down and 15. The ball moves back to the Georgia 31. The procedure call going against the Bulldogs. And Lastinger gives to Herschel Walker. And Walker is zeroed by Greg Gattuso. Boy, he just locked his legs as he tried to make his cut. Steve Sefter is the defensive end at 232 pounds. Greg Gattuso, the big redhead who just made that play, 262. Dave Ofer at 239, defensive tackle, and Walker Lee Ashley, who's played a fine ball game, at 235. The backers, Ken Kelly, 98's outside at 223. Scott Radisick, 244 in the middle, and Dave Papenroff at 234 outside. Here's Lastinger on a roll on second down and 15. Up it goes short. The pass thrown up the sidelines and bouncing right in front of Biondi, and there are the numbers at halftime.
These stats don't really reflect the first half play. Penn State really dominated, but Georgia leads in first down, leads in rushing. We expected that, but Penn State way out front in passing. Penn State leads in total yards. The number of plays and the time of possession are not indicative of the play, because Penn State has had over 11 yards on every first down attempt.
Third down and about 16, 17. Lastinger, a deep drop. Goes over the middle with it, and the pass is complete to Kevin Harris. The ball is at the 45 of Penn State.
This is a reversal of strategy. Georgia seldom would throw in the middle, except they have to against Penn State on long yardage, and you're going to see Harris come right in the middle. A beautiful throw. Lastinger got his feet set and laid the ball over the linebackers. Harris is going to come in behind the linebackers deeper than they dare drop or risk drop, because they've got to play the draw play on Walker. The defensive backs are back defending deep. The opening was there.
First down just short of the Penn State 45, and Walker straight up the middle for about 5 yards. Now they'll mark him at 4. Be second down and 6. I tell you, Frank, I got the feeling, I felt it, I said it. Yeah, I guess what, this morning when you and I were sitting visiting, that if the youngster Lastinger keeps his poise, he could have a big day tonight.
The key is his performance. He's got to be able to read the coverages, not beat him. His saving grace has not been making and avoiding not making mistakes. If he can do that, they've got a chance.
Going deep for Archie. He dropped it. Oh, my goodness. They got the matchup they wanted. They got Archie at 6'5". Against Biondi, and that's the third pass that he's had on his hands. He caught a touchdown pass, but he should have caught that ball.
You can see Archie, 6'5", running right by Biondi. He has more speed and more height. The ball is right on the target. No reason for Archie to drop that ball. Just took his eyes off it. Third one, as Keith has already mentioned, that he's dropped in this ball game. That was not a difficult reception.
You certainly can't fault Lastinger on it, I'll tell you that. Ball is at the 41. It's third down and 6. Got to be interference, but Harris comes down to the ball anyway because the Penn State man had tackled him. Dan Biondi is asking for some help. He is now going to the sidelines and saying, "Coach, you're picking on me. Get somebody else out of here. I got to get a breather."
Keith, you're always trying in your passing game to get the physical mismatches, but the big thing is Lastinger's confidence. As Harris is going to go down and curl, the short man, Clay, is in the flat, and Hamilton covers Kay in the flat, leaving the open receiver, Harris, and you can see the interference, meaning contact before the ball got to the receiver, but more importantly, a critical first down.
Ball is just short of the Penn State 30. It's first down, Georgia. And the ball goes to Herschel. Trying to go to the outside. Shakes a leg to the right, cuts it back inside, and gets down to about the 26. Give him 4. Chris Sidner made the tackle.
The point should be mentioned for all of our football fans. Penn State's defense is predicated on stopping the run and doing the best they can against the pass. Let me give you an illustration. Boston College passed for 595 yards against this football team. Hostetler from West Virginia passed for 350 yards.
Walker again. And he's to the 23.
The point I'm trying to make is that sooner or later, Georgia will be able to possibly hurt them passing in those intermediate zones.
Georgia right now is looking at 3rd down and about 3. Might be a short 3. With 11 minutes and 50 seconds, and Herschel now closing in on 100 yards in the ball game. See if they stay with the book. The book says run here. Outside to Walker. Got his first down. They're punishing him, but he seems to shrug it off.
He's a good execution on the option play, but wide receiver Harris makes a tremendous block on Biondi. Watch Harris. Receivers on Georgia football team are taught to do more than catch the ball. Look at the roll block by Harris, number 20, which frees Walker to make the first down with the run.
The ball is marked just inside the 17. Walker now is over 100 yards. 22 carries, 101. Fullback, McCarthy is just short. Whoa, did he blow through there? Mark Robinson got him, stopping the touchdown.
Warren Gray, watch the left side of your screen. Watch Gray block over. He turns him inside. Watch McIntyre, number 74, block Radisek all the way back. Radisek could not make the play. Tremendous blocking. Quick hitter of McCarthy, the blocker for Herschel Walker on most of the occasions, down to the 1.
They are just short of the goal line. First down and goal to go, and Barry Young is in there. 2 fullbacks. Penalty flags all over the place.
Georgia ran on the quick count. I'm not sure what the call is going to be, but Georgia ran on the quick count for the first time during the ball game. They don't need a penalty.
I think they might have one.
Nope, it's against Penn State.
Yep. Encroachment, offside.
Penn State, that's about all a defensive man can do. When it's first down and 1 against Herschel, you've got to get the jump on the offense. Win that battle of 6 inches of that neutral zone, you have a chance. But you have to stay on sides.
Touchdown here for Georgia. And the party's on again.
Offside on the defense. First down, half the distance to the goal.
Means the ball's about 6 inches away, if that much.
What a drive Georgia has put together. Throwing and running, mixing it up. That's what you have to do against the Penn State defensive scheme.
2 fullbacks in front of Walker. Herschel's got it. Penalty flags again. He's in the end zone. But the penalty flags are all over the place. Hang on. It's going to be Penn State's penalty. Georgia will refuse it, and it's touchdown.
Typical Georgia game. They look like they're struggling. They look like they might get beat, but they have come back and won 33 of the last 35 games. Watch the blocking. The offensive lineman must get low. If Walker's going over the top, the offensive blockers get underneath the defensive men. That's exactly what happened, and Walker scored the touchdown.
Butler is in for the extra point try. Jim Broadway, the punter, does the holding. Good. 10 minutes and 37 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. Penn State 20, Georgia 17.
Here's to good friends tonight.
Chicken and ribs?
Chicken and ribs.
78,124. A confirmed attendance. And the party is on. Both sides yelling now. as Georgia sticks it in the end zone, 20-17, a 3-point Penn State lead, 10:37 to go third quarter. And the Bulldogs' Butler will kick it off. Bow and Mumford are deep people for Penn State. That's a high hanger. A yard deep for Bow. 4 people in front of him. He almost pops out of there again. Oh, he is a dandy. But the Bulldogs get him up at the 18. So this is how Penn State will answer the call with the first defensive series of the second half. Blackledge, Warner, Williams, Jackson, Garrity. Look out for Jackson. We haven't heard from him lately. Up front, McCloskey. Another fellow's been pretty quiet lately. Heller, Sparrows, Battaglia, Laub, and Contz.
Keith, I look for Penn State to come back and try to strike very quickly. Quiet the crowd down and try to regain the momentum.
You got Jackson and Garrity wide to the top of the picture. Ball goes to Kurt Warner. And Warner is up to the 25. He got about 8 yards. The Georgia defensive group, Ronnie Harris. Cornerback came from San Diego Junior College. Anthony Flack, first freshman ever to start for Vince Dooley from Greensboro, North Carolina. Terry Hogue, the only Texan on the Georgia squad. And Jeff Sanchez came to play free safety from California Junior College. Ball again goes to Warner. Good. Blocking up the middle, and Kurt's got a first down at the 36.
Here's from the end zone. Look at the blocking. You can see the Laub, Dave Laub, number 60, makes a tremendous block on Thurston, number 60 also. And you see Warner's cutting ability. He cuts right back. Black misses him. Finally, some of his teammates get him down, but not before the first down.
At the 36, Warner now 11 carries for 71 yards. Georgia still playing a 4-man front as Carver drops off into the short zone area. Blackledge goes short to John Williams, and Williams is caught and dragged down at about the 39. The defensive guys up front for Georgia: Dale Carver, 215-pound end. Freddie Gilbert, 230-pound tackle. Kevin Jackson in at the middle guard position, 245. Tim Crow at 235. And Stan Dooley, who scored a touchdown after Carver had blocked the kick against Clemson in the opener. Tommy Thurston and Will Forts. Will Forts is out of there with a sprained ankle. We may not see him. Nate Taylor's doing the playing right now, along with Knox Culpepper. Blackledge on second down and 7 gives to John Williams. Williams is thrown off his route and then gets tangled up, and Jimmy Payne puts him down.
Keith Will Forts, number 42, is back in the ball game. Evidently, his ankle did heal, and he's playing the linebacker position.
They need his quickness because he can work that short zone pretty well.
Both Georgia linebackers have the speed. They're not very big. Forts is less than 200 pounds, but as Keith mentioned, he can get back in those deep curl areas that Penn State attacks so effectively.
It's third down and 7 for the Lions at the 40. And Todd Blackledge getting some pressure, and they've got him. Carver, Dale Carver.
The key for Georgia in this football game is putting some pressure on Blackledge. You're going to see the blitz. Thurston, number 60, but Carver from the right of your screen runs right over the blocker, number 96, and the defensive backs have done a great job. Carver and Thurston gets to him for the sack.
Third time they've been able to put Blackledge down. Chuck Amaro comes in to punt for the Lions. Boss is back inside the 30. Well, gets it out of there, and it's a howitzer shot, running Jimmy Harrell way back to the 15, the 16. And Harrell comes across the 20, and a penalty flag. Might have a clip. 55-yard high hanging punt, and I think Georgia clipped.
Giacomaro had only been averaging 38 yards during the season, but he is really booming that ball.
Let's see what the call is.
His kicks have been 55 yards, 46, and 55 so far today.
And that's illegal blocking. So Georgia's going to back up some on the penalty, trailing by 3. Timeout. Georgia will start. The football is just inside their own 9. With 7:20 to go in the third quarter. The illegal block, blocking below the waist on the return. Backing him up to 5. Now it is Wisham, number 6, coming wide to the right side along with Archie. Double wide right. Lastinger gives the ball to Herschel Walker. And Walker is brought down at the 7 for a loss of 2 yards. And Greg Gattuso makes the tackle.
Keith, coaches are always talking about field position. And Georgia has had atrocious field position throughout this game. But Georgia has been able this year to come from behind in 7 of the 11 games. They find some way to win. They look like they're struggling. They don't seem to be doing anything extremely well, but they come back and win.
Lastinger out of the end zone. Throws it as far as he can. Archie down there, and it is intercepted. Picked off by Mark Robinson. Herman Archie lost sight of the ball. Robinson gets loose, and he's a powerhouse of a runner as he brings the ball all the way back inside the 40 to the 37. Archie lost sight of the ball, and Robinson just plucked it off.
Well, Archie was getting pushed as he was going down the boundary, and finally you can see Robinson, number 32, is an All-American football player this year. As soon as he's established his eye contact with the football, he becomes the receiver. He has the advantage, and you can see what a fine football player he is. Archie cannot get him down, and he heads north and south and makes a fine return.
So just inside the Georgia 38. Here's Penn State operating now with 6.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Georgia turning it over. Blackledge wants to go quick. He goes to the short screen pass for Kurt Warner. And a fine play by Terry Hogue. And a loss maybe of a half a yard or so on the play. Penalty flag on the field.
Penn State has a penalty coming. I don't know exactly what it is.
That's what it is.
Terry Hogue is one of the great football players that Georgia's had in a long time. He's a consensus All-American. He intercepted 12 passes this year. In talking to Bill Lewis, the defensive coordinator, yesterday, he said Terry can anticipate the passes so beautifully. He can read the opposing quarterbacks. He gets the break, and he's around the football. That was a perfect illustration. Hogue, number 14, is coming up, and upper right of the screen, you're going to see a clip by the lineman coming out. We'll try to get his number, blocking from the rear, illegal, dangerous. That's why it's in the rule book. 59, Battaglia, the center, makes the illegal block. Now it's 1st and 25. Big break for Georgia, Keith.
Yep. Yes, it was. 1st and 25. In penalties, Penn State's been flagged 4 times for 36. Georgia 4 times for 26. The ball comes all the way back to the Penn State 47.
Jimmy Payne and Freddie Gilbert, the premier rushers for Georgia, both in the ball game.
They move up into about a 7-man front there, too, as Kurt Warner goes hunting for the sidelines and crosses midfield, and he's tumbled out of bounds at about the 48.
Georgia defense, similar to Penn State's. They scramble, they fight, they do everything they can to create confusion and get penetration and throw the ball carriers for a loss. Georgia's not big enough to line up head up with the Penn State offense. They just they outweighed about 30 pounds per man. They get in the gaps and try to penetrate, or get on the shoulder and penetrate. As we look at Joe Paterno. Don't worry, don't blame him.
Second down, about 22. Georgia almost jumped. They got away with it. There's a little pass bounced in front of John Williams. They're trying to set up a screen for John Williams with Kurt Warner and Battaglia out in front of him. And the pressure was put on by Tim Crow, and Crow got him, forcing Blackledge to get rid of it quickly.
But Georgia was offside. They did not get back out of the neutral zone before the ball was snapped.
I didn't see the flag come, but it looked to me like they were out. And
you can see that
while you watch this, I want to interject one thing here, though. You see that it's obviously encroachment, but Kurt Warner is hobbling off the field. Kurt Warner is holding the back of his right leg. It looks like hamstring trouble. And Penn State's big running back is leaving the ball game. I thought that perhaps a little more important than the encroachment there.
Offside on the defense.
Kurt Warner had a pulled muscle last year and missed part of the season. Pulled muscles are things that are slow to get well, and they are very, very dangerous to play when they are tight and they feel the leg pulling in that part of the.
Tell you, take him out of their offensive scheme of things, it becomes a little different ball game, doesn't it? Now you got to move Johnny Williams back into that tailback position probably. Right now, it's Blackledge back to throw. And Todd wants to go over the middle deep, and he's going over the middle for McCloskey. Can't hang on. Gave it a great try. Big Mike went up and got a hand on it, but couldn't pull it down.
You can see McCloskey has the speed. Bill Lewis, the defensive coordinator, said, hey, their tight end is just about as fast as their wide receivers. Carver is a defensive end trying to cover him. There's a mismatch in speed, but Carver stays close enough that forces the ball to be thrown high and above even the 6'5" reach of McCloskey, who makes a great effort. He hits his hand. Could have been caught, but it would have been a sensational reception.
There's Kurt Warner on the sideline. Double wide, top of the picture. Kenny Jackson coming back toward the ball. Blackledge straight back. Can't get rid of it. Freddie Gilbert, number 90. Jimmy Payne, number 87.
Jimmy Payne, number 87, has been a Southeastern Conference pick for 3 years. Watch why. He has persistence. He makes great effort. You block him every once in a while. You knock him down. He gets up. He's not going to give up. He's going to come right after Blackledge, and along with his teammate Freddie Gilbert, they sack him on 3rd and long.
And Giacomo is in to punt.
Keith, that's what we call a coverage sack. The defensive backs did an outstanding job. Blackledge had nowhere to go with the ball.
Giacomo spins it up. Harrell calls for a fair catch and makes it at the Georgia 15. Georgia's got the ball, but the Bulldogs still have poor field position. With 5:01 to play in the 3rd quarter. And Penn State leading the Bulldogs by a score of 20-17. I'm told that young lady is the favorite lady friend of one John Lestinger, the Georgia quarterback.
Quarterbacks always get the prettiest girls.
Ball is at the 15. Where it is Georgia's ball, first down. Penn State leading by 3. Georgia trying to spread them out a little bit by sending a man way wide to the top. Give the ball inside to Herschel Walker. And Walker remains pretty well controlled by Penn State in this ball game.
The most important instrument for Georgia in this ball game, I think we've said before, is last thing of the quarterback. He's going to have to make some big plays, as he did right before the half and as he did right after the half when Georgia came back and scored 2 unanswered touchdowns, trailing 20-3, making it 20-17.
We're told that Kurt Warner has a mild case of cramp in that right leg, and Kurt says he will be able to play. Jim Lampley checking with him. Here's Lasting on a roll left, keeps it. Up the middle he goes, dives for the marker, and then might have gotten him just short of it. Roger Puz, number 55, Greg Gattuso, Ken Kelly, all trying to pin him down before he got to the first down, and they stopped him.
Last thing that has 4-6 speed. It's a rollout pattern on this part of the field. If the receiver's not wide open, he's schooled to just tuck the ball under and use his running ability. And you see he makes nice yardage, gets under the linebackers to fall forward for extra yardage, close to first down.
Needs about 1.5 yards. Guess who? He didn't make it. Walker did not make it.
Penn State defense made a tremendous play, penetrating against an experienced Georgia offensive line. No gain.
There's no chance. That was a relatively unimaginative series by Georgia.
When you look at the scouting report, you find that Georgia runs the ball on 3rd and short 98% of the time, and Penn State played this, thinking run, thinking gaps, trying to stop the short yardage attempt.
3:20 to go, 3rd quarter. Broadway to punt it. Snap's good. Kicks out of there. Not a particularly good kick. Foul comes up, calls fair catch, and sits down at the 41. Kevin came up and handled that knuckler pretty well. After a 34-yard punt, Is trying to sort things out for the next offensive series right now. It is up to the Bulldog defense to hold on to Penn State. Lions leading 20-17 with 3:11 to go in the third quarter. They had a 20-3 lead at one time. Georgia getting one touchdown at the closing moments of the first half and a touchdown in the opening moments of the second half to close it to 3. Blackledge gives to John Williams. It was a busted play. Todd turned around and started to go one way, and by the time he was able to sort it out and get it to Williams, Dale Carver, this man, number 96, banged him.
Coming from the outside. The play was supposed to go the other way, to the left, away from Carver, and finally Williams had to come back and get the ball, and Carver was right there on the spot to stop him for no gain.
And a 2nd down and 10. Skeeter Nichols is in at tailback now. Warner has not come back as yet. Nichols is in there. He is a sophomore from Cambridge, Maryland. Long count, probably checking off. Blackledge back to throw. Wants to go down the pipe. Finally does, and the pass is incomplete, intended for John Williams, and Todd Blackledge takes a lick from number 90, Freddie Gilbert. ABC's NFL Monday Night Football, Dallas and Minnesota. They are going to play in Minnesota in the Dome. They've fixed the hole in the roof, and they'll play it at 9 Eastern Time, January 3rd, the Cowboys and the Vikings here on ABC. Blackledge is out of where is Blackledge? Did he leave the game, or are they just trying to treat the hand? Now he's still there, but I saw him looking at that hand, Frank.
Penn State is 1 out of 8 on 3rd down conversions. Surprisingly.
Well, he's going to put it up, so I guess the hand's all right. Gilbert's after him. Gilbert gets it.
Keith, that's again what we call coverage sack. Blackledge, France, watch this. He has a good 4.5 seconds. Give credit to that secondary. The receivers are going all around. Finally, Gilbert, who was a track man in high school, comes all the way across and catches Blackledge for the loss.
That's the 5th time now they've put him on his back. So they've sacked him 5 times, and Penn State's got to punt it.
Penn State has not scored in this the 3rd quarter.
Straight up by Giacomaro.
And he shanked,
out of bounds.
He shanked it too, Keith.
Right up the silo. So not much in it. And Georgia gets the ball now, and they get good field position. With 1 minute and 37 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter, it was an 18-yard punt.
Fundamental flaws in the kicking game and mistakes can beat a great football team. Take them right out of it. This is by far the best field position that Georgia has started on any of their 9 possessions so far in this game. And field possession is important.
McCarthy, the fullback. Herman Archie coming wide to the bottom of the picture. He's that big wide receiver, 6'5". Lastinger gives it to Walker. Walker trying to get to the sidelines. He gets 2 yards. Boy, I'll tell you, every time Herschel Walker has moved today, Harry Hamilton has been right there step for step for step. That's Kurt Warner still on the sidelines.
Keith, I think we should point out that Biondi is not in the ball game. He has left, and his substitute, Septa, has come into the ball game. The mismatch may no longer be there that Georgia took advantage of earlier in the quarter and at the halftime.
Lastinger keeping. Gets to midfield. They'll be looking at 3rd and 5. There's Warner trying to stretch that right leg out. You don't want to go out there if that cramp is still there, because you can wind up with a terrible spasm. Really painful.
Against many football teams, Georgia could press the running game in this situation and do well. Penn State lines up thinking run, sacrificing pass coverage. Now they've played the 3rd down. They probably will throw here.
He's got Archie, but he's waited too long. Now he's got to run for his life. Gets it off, throws it in the crowd, and is intercepted. Very poor decision on Lastinger's part. He had Archie open, slanting across, and then he decided to run it off to the right side, which to a large degree took him away from his primary core receivers.
We see Hines, 52, is putting a little pressure on him. And there's Walker Lee Ashley, number 37, chasing him. Doesn't allow that Stinger to get set and really throw the ball with any accuracy. But once again, All-American Robinson makes the interception. Here he is, free safety, just playing the football. All he's doing is watching the quarterback. And as soon as he throws the ball, he's going to go to it like a center fielder, or left fielder on this occasion, Mark Robinson, number 32.
That's his second interception, second turnover by Georgia. Penn State gets the football back, first down at their own 18-yard line with 28 seconds remaining to play in the third quarter.
Penn State has not had a turnover in this ball game, and Georgia, going into this game, had 46 for the season, over 4 per game average.
Apparently the clock didn't roll, so they're taking just a moment here to run some seconds off of it. Seconds that are agreeable in the judgment. In fact, the official clock really is kept to the back judge, so he was the one that picked it up and said run it down to 17. Blackledge in the first half had 160 yards. In the second half so far, Todd has produced 3 yards.
What do you attribute that to? I think the pass rush, a combination of a good pass rush, forcing Blackledge to throw the ball before he wanted to, good coverage by the secondary, and getting some sacks after the quarterback, Blackledge, had no one to throw to. There's his numbers for the game. Most of that, as Keith said, in the first half. All but what, 3 yards?
Yep, 3 yards.
That's incredible. What a turnaround. But football games are like this. I've seen them many will just turn completely around.
From the 18, first down, Penn State. Kurt Warner back in the ball game to the 26. Kevin Jackson, senior from Cartersville, Georgia, brings it down.
Kurt Warner has a different gait than the other backs. He's right through there and makes yardage with very little blocking.
Third quarter is over. We will continue after this commercial message underway.
Been momentarily disposed, and I'll take over the play-by-play until he returns. Starting the fourth quarter, Penn State leads 20-17. Second down and 2 from their own 27-yard line. Georgia defense has played exceptionally well in the third quarter, holding Penn State scoreless. The stats as we look at, Georgia has gained dramatically, 16 first downs to 11, lead in dramatically in rushing. Penn State still ahead in passing. Georgia total yardage, 2 turnovers for Georgia. Penn State did not capitalize on either. Second and 2. Blackledge has it. He hands off to Williams very quickly up the middle. Stopped it for a very short gain. But I believe that he did make the first down. Linebacker Will Thorts was in on the play. First down for Penn State. As we start the fourth quarter, Georgia trailing Penn State 20-17. Keith Jackson is back now.
The element of poise involved here, so important on first down for Penn State. And here goes Kurt Warner. And Warner breaking over the left side, running behind Cox and McGinnis. Wilson and Laub, that's where they all work. And once in a while, the big center, Battaglia, comes over, and looks like Warner is still having some trouble with the leg cramps. You want to rub those things out because they just get worse and worse and worse as the day goes on if you don't get them out of there. Sometimes you can't. 14 minutes and 27 seconds to play. And Penn State sitting on a 3-point lead, and we're going to have to take timeout now for Kurt Warner. Warner with 95 yards on 14 carries.
If you've got what it takes and really care, there's a special kind of...
Was able to get up and run off the field after getting the cramp rubbed out. Skeeter Nichols comes in at tailback, replacing him. And Kenny Jackson, who has been very quiet for Penn State, is wide to the bottom of the picture on first down from the 41. Blackledge gives the ball to Nichols. And immediately, the Georgia Bulldogs tackle the ball. Will Forts, in particular, reached in there and tried to get a hold of the ball, and so did Terry Hogue, figuring the man coming in cold off the bench might turn it loose.
as John Lastinger, thinking about what he's got to do when he gets back in the ball game. But Keith, it's very obvious Penn State has changed their strategy. They have run the ball for the last 7 plays consecutively.
Yep. And they're moving it. Second down. Gain of 4 on that carry by Nichols. Second down and 6. Warner is back. You can keep Kurt Warner in your running game is as potent as anybody. And here's Warner going to the outside and gets a first down for Penn State as he reaches the Georgia 48. Jeff Sanchez finally got him out.
The 3rd consecutive first down, running the ball.
Old friend David Hartman out on the sideline with the Nittany Lions. Joe Paterno personally invited David to come watch the ball game from that vantage point. I offered him some cotton, but he said no, he could handle it, because it is noisy down there. Warner now 15 carries on 101 yards, 2 touchdowns, first down. Penn State, Georgia 48. Lions have got a drive going here, a time-consuming effort too. But now Blackledge is going to put it up on first down. He's going for the bundle. Garrity, touchdown!
We talked about mismatches, physical. This was a mental mismatch. A senior, Greg Garrity, running right by the freshman, Tony Flack, number 8. He misjudged the pattern. He came up when he should have been retreating and covering deep, and Garrity ran right by him.
Well, 48 yards and a touchdown. 3 receptions, 111 yards for Greg Garrity. And here's your extra point try. Capano nails it. And 13-16 to play in the football game. Penn State can take a deep breath. The lead is going back to 10, 27-17. And watch this catch by Garrity.
It's a play action fake, faking to Warner and throwing back. And watch how deep and behind you see Garrity go right by number 8. What a beautiful throw and catch. You couldn't ask for anything any better. From the end zone, the fake is to your left, meaning throwback. We're going to go back against the grain, and Flack, the freshman, playing against the senior, Garrity. You're going to see him run right by him, but the beautiful arch on the ball and the stretch, the leap, the catch by senior Greg Garrity. Now, Greg Garrity's daddy played for Penn State. He was a walk-on, and his daddy had caught 54 passes for his career. Coming into this ball game, this young man had beat his daddy by 1, 55. And, of course, he's had a great game today. Watch him concentrate on the ball, look it into the arms, touchdown. Great camera work, man. Great camera work.
So now, a little bit of the air's gone out of the Georgia comeback balloon here. See if the Bulldogs can muscle it up and start one more time. 13-16 left to play in the ball game. Massimo Manca will kick it off. It is Herschel Walker and Keith Montgomery, the deep people, for Georgia. Go to Montgomery at the 5. Lost his footing. I guess maybe he was trying to make a cut or something, but he just simply stumbled and fell down.
6 plays, setting up the touchdown pass by running on 7 consecutive plays. Total offense for Penn State. They've gone ahead of Georgia 286 to 282. On first down, Penn State has made 272 yards on first down. 14 total on the other downs. That's remarkable, Keith.
It really is. First down has been their big play all day. Lastinger gives the ball inside to Chris McCarthy, the fullback, and he gets 1 yard. Ken Kelly, 98.
Ken Kelly was involved in the defensive switch that made this defensive team for Penn State. In the last 6 ball games, they've only given up 48 points.
Penn State man down. Can't get his number. I don't want to guess. They've got a timeout car. It is Ofer. Dave Ofer is the man shaking up on the play. He plays the down lineman position, one of the two down linemen of the Penn State defensive scheme, he and Greg Gattuso. So with exactly 13 minutes to play in the ball game, we've got a timeout for David. Penn State leading by 10. Second down and 8. Georgia's ball, their own 22, and they're trailing by 10 points. Lastinger has double wide top of the picture. Walker Lee Ashley was motioning somebody along the front, had moved for Georgia. And I think the Bulldogs are going to get hit right here with 5 yards. They are for procedure. And here comes that word again, poise.
Keith, you're exactly right. Georgia is, they're very quiet. Their bench is quiet. Their fans have
lineman on the offense.
a little bit in awe. That long touchdown pass stunned everyone as we look at the scoring.
Now it's second down and 13. And Lastinger back to throw, in trouble, gets it off to the sidelines, and the pass is incomplete. Incomplete, intended for Kevin Harris. Harris had it, but there were thundering hoofbeats coming from Chris Sidner.
And some thundering hoofbeats coming at John Lastinger, namely Walker Lee Ashley. Ashley was right on top of him, and Lastinger had to throw the ball. Watch number 37. You can see he gets a quick jump across the line as McIntyre, the tackle, couldn't pull it back deep enough to block him, and Ashley makes another fine play. What a football player he is.
Third down and 13. Money back. Ashley gets after him, but Lastinger pulls it down and runs it out to the 25. That will not be a first down. So Broadway will come in to punt.
Keith, I'm getting to where I'm excited just watching Kevin Ball catch these punts.
Yeah, he's a dandy, isn't he?
That's one of the most effective plays that Penn State has had, returning Georgia's punts. Kevin Ball has been sensational. Number 11, there he is. As you said, he's got the guts of a Berkeley. He's going to catch it and return it if he possibly can.
This will be the 6th punt of the ball game for Broadway. Bangs a good one. Foul backs up. Fair catch. Oh, he let common sense invade the circumstances for the moment. And makes the fair catch and gives Penn State the football. First down at the 28 after a 48 January 15, beginning its 22nd consecutive season. Here on ABC Sports, you'll see it at 5 Eastern Time live, but it will not be live on the West Coast.
Critical possession for the Georgia defense. They need to create something to cause a turnover if they possibly can.
Penn State goes to Kurt Warner. And Warner goes for 4 yards from the 28 out to about the 32. And we move inside 12 minutes. Clock running at 11:50. Penn State leading by 10, 27-17. Joe Paterno has had undefeated teams before, but he has never won a national championship. And Kurt Warner again having leg cramp trouble.
One thing that we should point out that when Kurt Warner has rushed for over 100 yards, their Penn State's record is unblemished, 17-0, and he just went over the 100-yard marker right there. What a football player this young man is. He is in a different dimension than the average football back.
There's Kenny Jackson coming to the sidelines to talk to his coach, Joe Paterno. Joe was a quarterback at Brown, played for Rip Engel at Brown University, English major, came over as an assistant to Rip, and has been at Penn State ever since, 19-odd years.
Well, and then, what, 17 is the head coach. I know of only one other person that followed that same procedure, and that was Bobby Dodd, the legendary Bobby Dodd. He came to Georgia Tech in 1931 as an assistant coach, became the head coach, and then retired after being the athletic director and coached his entire career at one school.
The comparison on the two leading runners in the ball game today. Herschel Walker has been, as you saw by the numbers, pretty well controlled by a determined Penn State defense. And Kurt, this time, is going to need a little help to get off the field. You notice they've cut the trousers a little bit in the back to get a little more freedom there. I remember one time when Joe Bellino was playing for the Naval Academy. They were playing out in Seattle, Washington. And he kept falling down with leg cramps. And he was a sensational player, Heisman Trophy.
Heisman Trophy, that's right.
And finally, the Washington trainer, Bob Peterson, went over there and said, well, his pants are too tight. And he cut the pants loose, and Joe went on and they beat the Huskies.
I would have fired the trainer.
2nd down and 7.
Here comes the blitz.
And it works. Knox Culpepper, sophomore from Atlanta, Georgia, made the stop on the Penn State ball carrier, John Williams, and Skeeter Nichols it was. And so it is 3rd down now and 9.
Once again, Penn State has passed on 92% of the 3rd and long situations. Will Georgia defend and rush only 4 or come back with a blitz as they did on the previous play?
Well, what they've done... Come on, David, you'll lose a finger.
You look pretty good.
You're a baseball player. Get out of there.
Here's the blitz again.
3rd down, and they're going. And the heat's on from the backside, and a whistle stops it. And a flag came early on that one. Looks like somebody inside may well have moved. For Penn State. Blackledge showing disappointment on it.
I believe is a yes. I thought it was they had exceeded the 25-second clock.
Could be. Vance Carlson will tell us.
Delay a game, offense, violation of the 25-second count. 3rd down.
When you coach for 25 years, you can sense those things.
Oh, you feel them. I felt myself, hurry up, Todd, hurry up, as if he was playing for my football team.
5 flags, 41 yards on the lines now.
Well, Georgia's got that decision. They telegraphed the rush last time. Now they fear they're going to defend.
3rd and 14. Blackledge back, looks at Jackson. He's covered. Goes for him anyway, and he gets the catch. And he is nailed up across the 40 at the 41, but it's good for a 1st down. Tony Flack hit him hard, but Kenny Jackson, once he gets his hands on it, will normally hang on.
To throw this type of pass, you need poise, you need a rifle for an arm, you need speed at the wide receiver, ability to catch that type of pass, hold on to it, and 3.5 seconds of line protection. Penn State has all of those capabilities. Jackson is outstanding. He has caught 17 touchdown passes in his career as a Nittany Lion. Great catch.
And the 1st down at the 42. Skeeter Nichols. Got about 4 yards as we go inside 10 minutes to play in the ball game. 9:45 clock running. That's an impressive group along the front for Penn State. Contz, McGinnis, Lau, Battaglia, Sparrows, Heller.
Steve Contz is the only returning starter at the position. Sparrows was a tackle, moved to guard, so really they've rebuilt that offensive line during this season.
They've got Bow wide now, 2nd down 6. Blackledge stands up, goes quickly, throws behind Greg Garrity. Incomplete. Todd now 12 of 23 for 228 yards in the ball game.
He has very definitely been the key. I'm very impressed with Todd Blackledge. When you throw those deep intermediate passes in behind the linebackers, they're the ones that are most likely to be intercepted. Georgia had 35 interceptions going into this game, and they've yet to pick off one of Blackledge's throws.
2 out of 10 on 3rd down conversion. They're looking at 3rd and 6 here. They give the ball to John Williams. And look at Johnny Rumble down to the 40 for a 1st down. Stan Dooley brought him down.
When you think run on defense, when you think pass, you're trying to get up the field. You can see the Georgia people run themselves right out of the play. It was the draw play. Williams is the fullback. Played tailback some last year when Warner was hurt. Will probably be the tailback next year, as Keith had mentioned early in the show.
And here's Penn State sitting on the Georgia 40, leading by 10 points. They put it in the end zone here, and I think the party's over. The party is on for Penn State. They'll take a gamble at it if they can get another touchdown. at this point in the game.
Well, let's set the scene, Keith. If I had the responsibility of calling the Georgia defenses against a team that has tremendous speed at the wideouts, a tight end that's an exceptional receiver and blocker, 2 runners like Williams and Warner, plus a passer like Blackridge, what do? You can't punt when you're on
go
defense.
after him. My reaction is go after him.
That's a good point. That's all that they've had success with is mostly rushing and blitzing.
But they got burned on that deep pass. But they got burned on that long pass play because Tony Flack, the freshman, just simply misplayed it. Here's John Williams again. And Georgia gets him at the 36 after he picked up 4 yards. This is the most points scored against Georgia since 1979 when Auburn beat them 33-13. The Orange Bowl, 3rd quarter, LSU 17, Nebraska 14. Oh, the Bayou Bengals sneak that one out of there.
LSU has a talented football team. They're young. They're sophomore.
Very young.
Except the senior quarterback, Reichia, is outstanding. He had a great senior year for him.
3rd down and 7. All just outside the Georgia 36. Blackridge gives to John Williams to the sideline. And he's tumbled out of bounds. Stan Dooley, number 50, got a hold of him. But Williams is a big, stocky, strong fellow. He stands 5'10", but he weighs right at 200 pounds.
Keith, an amazing thing is that Williams runs a 4.4. The coaches tell me he's just as fast as Warner. Decision time, it looks like that the Paterno is going to go for it on 4th down.
Yeah, he's got to go, what?
2 yards.
2 yards. Yeah.
Yard and a half. Really, a yard and a foot. That's 4 feet is the distance.
He's going to spend the timeout to talk it over. So Penn State will have 2 left. Leading by 10, 7:17 to play. Come out with 7:17 to play with Ralph Giacomo in punt formation. The reason you would think they're going to punt it is because Ken Kelly, who is a linebacker, is the principal blocker in the center formation for the punter. They could snap it to Kelly, and he might take off, but they don't. They go to the punter, and he just pops it up in the air, and look at that. He tried his dead-level best to hit a knuckleball and kill it somewhere down inside the 10. Instead, he wound up with a perfect spiral, and it'll come back to the 20 for a touchback.
Well, like hitting a golf ball. When you try to hit it easy, you hit it further than when you try to hit it far down the fairway.
The Cowboys and the Vikings coming up on ABC's presentation of NFL Monday Night Football at 9, 8 Central Time. A couple of playoff teams bumping heads. Dallas, of course, looking very, very strong. And the Minnesota Vikings have had their troubles, but because of their schedule, tougher opposition, they have been able to find their way into the playoffs.
Herschel Walker's out of the ball game.
Oh, here is Jones going for an option to Archie, and it is incomplete. He got his hands on it. Herman Archie, as Chuck Jones was swinging to the right, trying to throw the ball deep. Chris Sidner among those there. There were 2 people there, and I think Sidner's the man that spoiled it.
Those kind of plays are good in the 1st quarter when you have momentum. As you can see, Penn State was not fooled. They're expecting some tricky play. They expected Georgia to do something extraordinary, different from what they've done, and they were ready for it. Beautifully played.
And now Walker comes out into the wide position. He and Harris are lined up wide on the left side. They give it to Herschel, trying to get him one-on-one. He takes it back toward the middle, and he takes a lick from Walker Lee Ashley and goes down. After gaining 2 yards, it'll be 3rd down, and they will need 6.
Penn State has, we've already mentioned, 2 defensive linemen down in what we call a lineman stance. The rest of their people are standing up, watching for Herschel, being able to react up and down the line in gang tackling pursuit.
Herschel Walker made 85 yards in the 1st half. He's gained 12 in the 2nd half. He's out there as an eligible receiver. Lastinger is caught behind the line of scrimmage by Walker Lee Ashley.
As Walker Ashley played a great football game. When you have a defensive player like this and he's having a good game, boy, the adrenaline gets deployed, and he wants to make more big plays. And there's nothing like a sack. You can see the block by the fullback did not put him on the ground. He just kept his feet and makes a sensational diving tackle on 3rd down.
First sack of the Georgia quarterback today. And on 4th down and about 17, they will punt. Broadway stands at his end zone. He should hit it up around the 3. Gets it out. Good kick. Very good kick. Bow drops it.
I brag on him, he drops the ball.
Yep, I'm saying Georgia's got it. That seems to be it is Georgia's ball. So Kevin Bow gambled one time too many. 43-yard putt, didn't come up with it.
Georgia somehow finds a way to stay in the football game. The amazing part of it is that they're in this football game, and it shows the character they have, and also some luck right there as Bow drops it, but the great coverage by Georgia. They were surrounding Bow, and they got the ball with a great opportunity.
First down, Georgia at the Penn State 43, 5 minutes and 38 seconds to play in the ball game.
Please throw the ball if you want to win. Walker's at flank.
Yep, got him out there again. He and Harris on the same side. Lastinger looking at him, gets it away. Pass caught by Harris, and Harris is dropped at the Penn State 27.
The reason Harris was wide open,
they went after Walker.
They went right after Herschel going down the boundary. Changing the formations is the easiest way to mix up your offense. That's the simplest and sometimes the most successful, and you can see the linebackers and ends taking off after Walker, leaving Harris number 20 open.
Walker's back at tailback now on first down. Lastinger lets it go, and the pass is drilled and complete to Clarence Kay, the big tight end. And that was an All-American pass that Mr. Lastinger stuck in there that time.
Clarence Kay is an excellent target. As I had said earlier, he may be the most physical player on the Georgia football team. Big, strong tight end. Made a great run and catch to set up the second field goal against Clemson early in the season.
Second down and 1, 4:45 to play in the ball game. Ball goes to Herschel. Walker looking for the first down. He's got that. Goes out of bounds, saving time as he skips out at the 12. Run out by Mark Robinson. And the clock stops at 4:38 to play in the game.
Anytime you see Walker go outside and make yardage, you know that their fullback, McCarty, has made a good block. Once again, he blocked the contained man, and Walker just sprung right outside for the first down.
Now here is Tron Jackson into the lineup. First time we've called his name today. Number 25 in at tailback as Walker stays on the sideline. And Jackson goes in motion, and the ball is given to the fullback, and McCarthy punches to about the 9, where Dave Papenroth brings him down. They're working on Walker. I don't know what it is that's bothering him. Can't see pictures sometimes.
The Georgia offensive line is an experienced unit. Really, probably the strength of their football team, but that shows you just how good that the Penn State defense is. They've done a great job of shutting down the Georgia run.
Ron Jackson again goes in motion. Here's Lastinger back to throw, running for his life, throws in the end zone. No! Oh, my goodness, I think maybe Clarence Kay tipped the ball away from Kevin Harris. Harris might have been able to catch that ball, but they weren't looking for each other. There was no particular play. It was just scrambles time, and it got away.
When you roll out to the right against a team with the speed of Penn State, Hamilton, their safety, is blitzing and forced Lastinger just to throw it up. Goodness gracious, I believe you're right, Keith. If Kay had not gone up, Harris would have called it for the touchdown.
We're told that Herschel Walker's shoulder, right shoulder, popped out, but you know what? It's popped back in, and the big horse is back in there and throws a block. And the quarterback gets it away to Kay, and he's got a touchdown to Clarence Kay.
Game out, punting the ball on 4th and 1. Penn State's decision would go back to a very, very costly one. Great throw by Lastinger. Tremendous and a great catch. Look how wide open Kay is. Number 23, Cunningham, was completely fooled on the play. He went across the line and was covering Norris Brown going to the right of the Georgia team.
Lastinger took a pretty good wallop from Ken Kelly. Then big old Ken reached down and picked him up, patted him on the rump, and sent him on his way to the sideline. So the youngster comes up with a big play.
Keith, Georgia is
looking
for two. They have won the national championship 2 years ago. They are not interested in a tie. And we should mention that Division 1A is the only part of the NCAA that doesn't use the tiebreaker system, so Georgia's not going to take a chance.
Which is really ridiculous. They should have a tiebreaker system in Division 1A. I think. Well, if they can get two,
someday we will.
Make it 27-25.
They're going for two.
And with Butler, you know, Butler can burn you from 60 yards.
That's Georgia's thinking. There's 3:54 left to play. Georgia trailing by 4. The option is, do you go for one and hope you can get the ball back and kick a field goal and tie? No, that's no good for Georgia. They want to go for the national championship, and I respect them and admire them for their decision.
All right, Tim Case has come in now. He is a center, but he has come in replacing Mike Weaver. So they get Tim Case, a tall fellow, in replacing Weaver.
Unbalanced line to the right, Keith, and a flood. They're going to go right.
Give it to Walker, and Herschel is hit, fighting, hit, stop, don't make it.
Well, Georgia's not hurt on the play. If they're going to go for the national championship, a field goal wouldn't help them anyway. They've got to score, even if they made that two. I think is a good decision, even though it didn't work.
I agree. I think it was a good decision. It does not work. There's a Penn State man shaken up on the play. 3:54 to play in the ball game. Team have sent out defensive backs, receivers, running backs, people with good hands. And they're lining up. There's Joel Coles lined up there.
Keith, the option is that with 3:54 left to play, you have to gamble that your defense can stop Penn State and get the ball right back. But then you would have probably less than a minute and a half to move down the field. And Georgia's not geared to move that quickly, although they did at the close of the first half on some real unusual type plays. Well, we'll see what Vince decides to do.
3:54 is a lot of time.
They have each team has 2 timeouts left.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd want Penn State to have the ball at midfield. But that's not my decision, thank goodness.
Not mine either.
27-23, Penn State. Butler. He hooks it off to the sidelines, jerks it out of bounds down around the 15. I don't think he wanted to do that.
He was trying to hit an open spot away from the 2 backs that are back there to handle the ball. The 2 being Jackson, the wide receiver, and Bow, the safety man. And the 2 men would have a hard time covering the ball. In fact, what he tried to do is take it right over their head and hope that the Georgia players could get down and recover. The defensive people, Bow and Jackson, are not lining up very deep for you fans. You can't see it there. You can see it there. One is on the 25-yard line, and one is on about the 35-yard line.
Well, they're giving Georgia, or giving Butler in this particular instance, well, see, now Bow's going back. He's going back to about the 25. Butler's going to hit this one from his own 35 after the 5-yard penalty. And Penn State is still reading onside kick because they've still got all of those defensive backs and running backs and receivers up front. They're giving him 25 yards. There's 25 yards of open territory behind Jackson and Bow for Butler. He hits it.
He wants to stop the ball before.
He's done it.
What a great kick.
And they've got Bow deep. My gosh, Frank, the kid did just exactly what he wanted to do. He's a sophomore, and he's one of the coolest youngsters I think I have ever seen.
Well, Penn State, in my judgment, made the mistake of not putting at least one man back to the goal line to handle any deep kick. That was a tactical error on Penn State's part. There's no reason not to have him back on the 15-yard line of the 10 to guard that territory.
So here are the Lions leading by 4 points with 3:53 to play in the ball game. They have the ball at their own 14. First down has been the big down for them.
Here's the blitz.
Georgia's got to go after him now. Blackledge back, hands the ball off. Kurt Warner. Warner trying to get outside, struggling struggling with leg cramps. He gets 6 yards as he comes up across the 20. Jimmy Payne made the tackle.
One of the most troublesome plays against the Georgia scheme of defense is the cutback. Going out the back door. Warner picked up about 7 yards, going back away from the way the play was designed.
Yeah, they give him the ball at the 21.
Warner's back there stretching, Keith, trying to free up his leg.
Well, they got Williams right in front of him. And Warner's got it. And Warner should have his first down. He's close. Depends on the mark. Whether it's a right-footed mark or a left-footed mark, I reckon, will tell you whether or not he's got his first down. So it'll be 3rd down and very short, or else it'll be 1st and 10. And Vance Carlson wants a long look, may bring the change.
Steve, we coaches are always joking and saying, well, you have to learn to play with pain. You can't play with injury, but you can play with pain. And you would have to say Warner has been very gallant, and now I believe Warner's going off the field. He just can't do it anymore. It's too painful. Well, at least he cannot. Yes, he's going off.
Just short.
3rd down, and Warner is leaving the ball game.
Well, Joel Coles will come in. I suspect what will happen now, let's see, you'll probably get Coles in. Now you're going to get Mumford. You're going to get Tony Mumford come in there and probably be the tailback with the Williams and Coles in front of him, or else you could get Mumford lining up at fullback with Johnny Williams at tailback.
What a big play for Georgia, Keith. They've got to gamble. They've got to have everybody going through the gaps, try to cause the bad play.
3rd and a foot. Quarterback sneak. That should do it. That should be enough for the first down out to the 25.
Another advantage of a big, strong, 6'4", 210-pound quarterback. Muscle right over behind the guard. You know, Blackledge, I have a soft place in my heart for him. He's the son of a football coach. His dad coached at Kent State for the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, and coach's sons have a hard time, believe me, to be a great athlete.
And he's a Phi Beta Kappa.
3.8.
On your man. Two minutes and 45 seconds to play in the game. Penn State's going to get hit here with what?
Obviously an offensive lineman move before after he'd taken his stance in the 3-point stance. He's restricted. He cannot move. Well, that's a break for Georgia. Still, Georgia has what, Keith? 2 timeouts left.
Yep. Both teams 2 timeouts left.
Well, let's put it in perspective. 2:43. If Penn State keeps the ball on the ground, Georgia uses both of their timeouts.
Ball foul. That end was covered. He cannot move. First down.
Georgia uses both their timeouts, and they fail to make the first down. Then Georgia will have about a minute and probably 15 seconds to.
And 15. Blackledge turns, gives the ball up to John Williams, and Williams breaks one tackle, but Jeff Sanchez finally brings it down. He picked up 6 yards on the carry. The clock is running. 2:10 coming up. They stop it? Nope, not yet. 27-23 Penn State. No Paterno undefeated teams in 68 and 69 and 73. Has never won a national championship.
The biggest prize in college football.
SMU beat Pitt today 7-3. Finished undefeated. 1 tie right against Arkansas. 2nd down and 8. Williams again. Hard runner left side to 32. They've got to go to the 35. Just over it to get the first down. And now timeout is called by Georgia. They've got 1 left. You've got 1 minute, 37 seconds to play in the ball game. Third down, short 4, long 3, however you like. The ball is sitting just outside the 31, Penn State. They've got to go across the 35, near the 36 to get the first down.
Penn State lines up in a spread formation, only 1 remaining back.
Georgia's bunched up. Bulldogs think they're going to run.
Changing the play.
Threw it. Garrity caught it. First down, Penn State. That may have that sound you heard may have been the door closing.
Give credit to Blackledge. He looked over the defense, saw Georgia was going to blitz, had one-on-one coverage, 2 receivers into the boundary. He checked off and went to the one-on-one pattern for the first down. That is experience. Blackledge in his 4th year at Penn State, redshirted as a freshman after he was injured his leg. Joe Paterno is nearing the biggest prize that we have to offer, a coach, a team, and the school.
Blackledge turns, gives the ball to Skeeter Nickel. Now Penn State just has to run it down. Georgia with 1 timeout remaining. They'll try to be as judicious as possible in spending that timeout. But with that first down that Penn State just acquired, it may have become academic. Lions leading by 4, 27-23, and time is so precious now. The 49th Sugar Bowl game, matching number 1 Georgia, number 2 Penn State. First man, Williams. He sticks his helmet in there and gets a yard. Georgia's going to have to spend the timeout. And they do it right there. 50 seconds to play in the ball game. 5-0. Penn State trying to hold on to the ball in a 4-point lead.
Picking and choosing the right investments requires very careful handling. One wrong move can easily damage the best laid plans. At Merrill Lynch, we know that size and strength can be very valuable. But it is our sensitivity to your investment goals and agility in helping you reach them that makes us what we are. Merrill Lynch, a breed apart.
Hitachi won. Just 50 seconds to play in the ball game. Penn State, 4-point lead. Georgia now with no timeouts remaining. They've just spent the last one. All the Lions have to do, really, is snap the ball twice, don't make any mistakes. Don't get to running around in such a way that you can lose the ball. There's a loss on the play. It is 4th down. And the clock is running. And they just let it run and let it run and let it run right down and take the last tick of the clock and then punt it away.
Georgia's only chance is to block the kick, and they've got them all up there. Georgia will get the ball with about 9 seconds left on the clock.
They're going to send Jimmy Harrell, the deep man. Penn State's not going to punt. They're just going to snap the ball and run it down. They don't have to punt. They could. It was probably the safe thing. They'll take the 5-yard penalty. Take the 5-yard penalty and then kick. They only got 6 seconds left. They don't have to punt it at all. All they got to do is let it go, but
I believe that they'll punt it, Chief, because Georgia could possibly stop them quickly, and with that, the clock stops automatically on change of possession. They'd get one play, and they could create a possible penalty situation by throwing the ball over the goal line. Georgia's only chance is to block the kick, pick it up, and score with it.
Not a bad ending, huh?
Boy, give credit to the Penn State football team and give courage to the Georgia team.
Both teams played well. No bleaks.
All 11 of them up out rushing.
Nobody back. 11 people. 11 red shirts up on the line. They're all going after the ball. Everybody's going. And Giacomo gets it out of there. 3, 2, 1. Penn State wins it. 27-23. Paterno down in the middle of the happy melee that is swirling in the center of the Sugar Bowl, and now up on the shoulders he goes. Joe's had this trip before, but I don't know if he's ever enjoyed it more, because he is now truly, genuinely in position to perhaps be crowned the the national champion. Remember, however, SMU beat Pittsburgh today 7-3. And the Mustangs, out of the Southwest Conference, did not have a loss. They had only a tie, 17-17 tie. Penn State was a loser to Alabama, 42-21. But the Nittany Lions came into the Sugar Bowl and beat number 1, Georgia, 27-23.
Chief, I believe this is a high water mark for that young man, Joe Paterno. What a illustrious career he has had. If, in fact, they are voted national champions, it would be a great thing for him, and SMU would also have a chance and would make a good national champion.
Okay, we've got some highlights and some interviews and the awarding of the MVPs and some celebration coming up in our post-game presentation. Our most valuable players in the ball game. For Penn State, Todd Blackledge, quarterback. For Georgia, John Lastinger, quarterback. Both of them played very well. Blackledge, 13 of 24, 235 yards. Lastinger, 12 of 26, 167 yards, 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. But when it was all done, this man, Joe Paterno, gets the ride.
This was college football at its very best.
I would say so. 2 exceptional teams from 2 exceptional universities, coached by exceptional people.
Well said.
And in a glorious setting. And so oftentimes it's such a pleasure to be able to get into a position just once in a while at least, where you have your top 2 teams squaring off. At least 2 teams that could conceivably be called your top 2. Though I'm sure the Pony Express over in Dallas doesn't quite feel that way about it. But your final score goes for Penn State, and it could very well be the Lions will claim and be put into the record book as the national champions and finally take that MacArthur Bowl to State College, Pennsylvania. The executive producer of ABC Sports is Roone Arledge. Tonight's coverage of the 1983 Sugar Bowl was produced by Chuck Howard, directed by Andy Sedaris. Our technical director is John Allen, and our associate director is Ned Simon. Now this is Keith Jackson along with Frank Broyles, Jim Lampley saying goodbye from New Orleans, where our final score was Penn State 27, Georgia 23 in the 1983 Sugar Bowl game. Stay tuned now for the Sugar Bowl postgame program. We'll have interviews and conversation out of the locker room and some highlights from tonight's ball game. Travel arrangements made through and promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies more people to Hawaii than any other airline. That's what friendly skies are all about. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports.
Just when you thought you'd been left in the lurch, the greatest American hero is back. So break out the champagne and bring on the dancing girls. Showtime. Ralph and Pam tie the knot for the new year, and they're moving in on Thursdays, starting Thursday.
There's the final score in the 49th Sugar Bowl game. Penn State 27, Georgia 23. The Georgia Bulldogs coming in ranked number 1. Penn State ranked number 2. Well, Penn State just a little while ago came in here against Alabama, ranked number 1, undefeated. They got beat 14-7. I guess if there is a moral to the story, Frank Broyles, it is if you persist long enough, you will ultimately achieve what it is that you seek. And Joe Paterno and his Nittany Lions would seemingly have it in hand.
Well, that seems to be the case, but I think persistence is important. But Todd Blackledge and Jackson and Garrity and McCloskey and Warner and Williams really give Penn State the most explosive team that we've seen this year and maybe in recent years. When you have to defend the run and the pass on every down, you're in trouble.
This is the Penn State dressing room. there is no particular celebration. It is a moment of respite. It is a moment of quiet, a moment of thanks, if you will, because that's the kind of people that play football at Penn State. They know where they've been. They know how long they've pursued it. They know what it took to get there, and they know how to appreciate what it is they have just achieved. Jim Lampley will be into the locker room at a later time, but these first few minutes are important because when you combine the blood, sweat, and tears of a football team, take all of the personalities, all of the diverse ethnic groups, all of these elements, roll them into a package, congeal them, cement them, and get a cohesive effort and keep it together for a period of what, 4 months? You've done a pretty good job, and it's something to be proud of. And let's go back now and look at some of the highlights from this second half of play, in which Georgia kind of really outplayed Penn State.
Particularly in the third quarter. Georgia had 2 unanswered touchdowns, close of the first half, and the first possession of the second half. And Chris McCarty, the fullback, just breaks right in behind Guy McIntyre, who blocks the great linebacker Radisek, number 97, and goes right on in down to the 1-yard line. Just a great effort on his part.
Now Herschel Walker for the touchdown.
Herschel is very, very talented at going over the top on the goal line. He scored 16 touchdowns during the season, and most of them were on plays like this, close to the goal line, going over the top behind McIntyre and Gray.
Of course, that was a result. He was involved in that pass, Harris, and then Walker took it down the sidelines and ultimately scored. But here's the one that did him in, right here.
Penn State set this up beautifully, running on 7 consecutive plays, 3 first downs. First and 10, they go deep. Garrity, number 19, gets right in behind number 8, Flack, and there's the touchdown.
So those are the key highlights of the second half. Now for the party. Let's join Jim Lampley in the Penn State locker room.
Thank you, Keith. I don't know if you can see me, but I'm here in the middle of what is obviously a rowdy celebration and a very joyous one in the Penn State dressing room. Without further ado, let's get the business done. Here's Henry Bodenheimer, the president of the Sugar Bowl Committee. Here is Joe Paterno. Here is Dr. John Oswald, the president of Penn State University. Henry, the trophy.
It gives me a great honor to present the 49th Sugar Bowl trophy to 2 fine men, Jack Oswald retiring this year as president of Penn State, and Joe Paterno, a credit to college football and a great guy.
Dr. Oswald, you've both been waiting a long time, huh?
Oh, we've been waiting. I've been waiting 13 years, but it's great. They've won it before, but it's never been official.
Joe, congratulations. I know that you like to keep all of the happy moments of your life in perspective, but certainly this is one of the happiest.
It certainly is, and I think that this bunch of guys out here just never lost belief in themselves, and they just kept hustling, and they got it done, and I'm really proud for them, and obviously thrilled for myself, but it's a great honor for Penn State, and we're delighted to get it, really.
Key call of the game, a very courageous one on your part. Less than 2 minutes to go. 3rd down 3. You elected to throw.
Well, we talked it over on the sideline. We thought we had to square out on the one before, and Todd Blackledge said, why don't we just do just what we did? If they give me the pass, I'll throw it to Garrity for the first down. And I said, Todd, you're running the show. And Todd made it go. So give him the credit, not me the credit.
You know, there were times when it looked as though you were on the verge of blowing Georgia out, so I know you admire their tenacity.
Oh, I think Georgia's a great football team. I think it was a great game between 2 teams, just as I thought it was going to be. And I think Georgia deserves a tremendous amount of... they had so much courage to come back when we had them 20-3, and I thought, boy, here we go. We're going to half and, you know, stop them. And that's why they've won so many games, and that's why they've been national champs or close for it. They're a great football team.
Is your mind on the upcoming polls now?
My mind isn't on anything. We're number 1.
I think it's a rather emphatic statement by Joe Paterno and his minions in this dressing room, and we'll be back with more Sugar Bowl postgame right after this.
We're going to get some kids.
I'm a firefighter. You get greasy, grimy. I'm shampooing 2-3 times a day.
Things complete the Digby Miller Trophy as the outstanding player in the Sugar Bowl. Here's the chairman of the committee, John Bobinger. Who gets it, John?
It is with great pleasure that I can present this to quarterback Mr. Blackledge as the MVP of the game.
Congratulations. Thank you, John. Todd, this has not been the easiest of years for your ball club. I can't help but remember what you told me about the week following the 1 loss against Alabama. when the team seemed to sort of regroup around the idea that you could come back and win the national championship?
This is the greatest team I've ever played on in my life. The guys on the team have so much character, so much poise, and so much just love for each other that after that loss, we decided we weren't losing anymore. We were going to win the rest of them one at a time. And I just praise the Lord. It's been the greatest season I've ever experienced, and this just caps it all off.
The biggest personal adjustment on the team, and one that you were a part of, was the one that was made by your closest friend and roommate, Kurt Warner, who had to respond to some difficult times early in the season. Was that hard for you?
It was hard. It was a trying time for both of us because we are such close friends. He's the brother that I never had, and I love him dearly. And Kurt just showed me so much as a person when he accepted his role as when we were throwing the ball a little more earlier in the season. And he just came on, and he's the best running back in the country. There's no doubt about it. He's the best running back in the country.
They may poke a little fun at him right now, but you know they love him for what he did today. Great game, Kurt. A lot of difficulty with the leg cramps, but you kept coming back.
Sometimes you got to go. You got to go all out. When it's the last game of the year and everything's on the line, you got to go play the best you can play. So
motivation for you in going on the field with Herschel Walker?
Yes, it was. Herschel's a great football player, and Georgia has a great team, and it was really a great challenge to play against Georgia and Herschel Walker. I'd like to say hello to my mother and tell her I'm on.
Hey, everybody says hello to their mother, Kurt. Kurt Warner and Todd Blackledge, I think you can get a sense of what the personality of this entire ball club is like. They're a very happy group right now, and we'll be back. The final word right after this.
Summary, Frank Broyles, is the best way I can put it is there is no opinion quite as valid as your own opinion of yourself. And I think that when you keep hearing teams say that we believed in each other, I think that really, I guess, is the whole story of what it's all about, isn't it?
It certainly is, and you have to have superior leadership to come back like Penn State did after losing to Alabama, and both of these teams showed superior leadership. And if you take one ingredient about character, it's leadership that you need on a football team because it's a team effort.
The one play that made all the difference, it was 20-3 at one time. Penn State looked like they were on their way to an easy one. But then Georgia went bang for a touchdown to make it 20-10 at halftime, and then bang a touchdown to start the second half, and they're back in the hunt. It's 20-17. And then Mr. Blackledge and Mr. Garrity hooked up on a 48-yard play. But one of the most amazing things about the ball game is how many times they were successful on first down today. But here's the 48-yarder that made the difference in the game.
Garrity is not extremely fast, but he's a clutch player. You can see he looked back to, I think he deceived Flack, number 8, into thinking he was going to catch the short pass, and Flack came up on the play, made the mistake, and he could not recover in time to defend against the pass. But it was a great throw and an outstanding catch.
Greg made 4 catches in the ball game today for 118 yards and the winning touchdown. But the set of numbers that just leaps at me, Frank, 363 total yards in offense for Penn State, and of that 363 total, 307 were made on first down plays. Very quickly, Jim Lampley.
Thank you, Keith. Here I am with an understandably disappointed Vince Dooley, but I don't think you have any reason to be anything other than proud of the way your team played and came back.
I'm disappointed, but I am proud. I'm proud that there were a couple of times when we looked like we were out of it. Right before the half, we came back, got back into it. And then Penn State almost got us out again, but our ball club rallied and made a game of it all the way to the end. We had a chance. So I'm proud of our team for that. On the other hand, you have to give Penn State a lot of credit. They're a great football team, the best balanced football team that I've seen since I've been coaching. They've got just entirely too many guns on offense, and they displayed them tonight, going to the wide receiver, and Blackledge with a great night, and the running backs, and the defense was scrappy. So I congratulate Penn State. It's a tough loss for us. On the other hand, I'm very, very proud of our football team for what they've accomplished this year and what they almost accomplished tonight.
Coach, key call of the game, 3rd and 3, less than 2 minutes ago, Penn State threw. Had you given consideration to the possibility they would?
Yeah, I thought they would when they completed the pass. Yeah, I thought somebody might have been moving on that particular play too. On the other hand, it was a great call and a great play.
Okay, thank you very much, Vince Dooley. Let's bring Herschel Walker over for just a moment. Herschel, congratulations on a great season and everything that's happened good for you this year. Today was not so great for you and your ball club, but I'm sure that you're proud of the way you and your teammates played.
Oh, yes, I'm real proud of the way they played, and I'd like to congratulate Penn State because they played excellent. They played real well, and it was really my honor to play against a team like that. And they deserve #1, and I'd like to say that they are #1 because they went out and really executed the ball real well and really played as champion.
You must have felt suffocated at times by the degree to which their linebackers keyed on you and followed your every move.
Well, I felt that they was sort of following me a great deal, and that's why we started running fullback a great deal. They started getting out, and like their down linemen, they was breaking their line of scrimmage, and I think that hurt us some. And we started passing the ball some, which helped us to get out of the hole, and I think John played real well. He played a real excellent game.
Kind of ironic that 2 years to the day after the game you played against Notre Dame with a separated shoulder, the shoulder came out again in the 4th quarter. Did that bother you at all in the late stages of the game?
Well, not really. Like all year, I've been playing with sort of sore shoulder. I hurt my shoulder early in the season. That's why I had to go around changing shoulder pads. And sort of like now I'm used to the pain in that shoulder, and like it snapped out and snapped back in, and I think I'm used to it. I think I can handle it. I really don't think it bothers me that much.
More than anybody I know, you keep the high moments and the low moments in perspective. So I know that you're disappointed, but not heartbroken. Congratulations again for everything. Herschel Walker and Vince Dooley in the Georgia dressing room. Now let's go back upstairs to Keith Jackson.
All right, Jamie, thank you. Good job. And I guess all there is left to say is the final score of the 1983 Sugar Bowl game. Penn State 27, Georgia 23. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports.
College football national title. Gary Papa has highlighted Club near Norristown have a surefire way to make.
B, how about the Nittany Lions? B, how about the Nittany Lions? We'll get to A in a second. Sugar Bowl showdown, and most likely the national championship is going to go to the Penn State Nittany Lions. You saw it right here on Channel 6. Let's get into it. Penn State had the ball early in the first quarter, and it's nice to start off the highlights with a fine play by Mike McCluskey of Father Judge High School. Look at this reception. It'll set up a Kurt Warner touchdown, but it is Warner's second touchdown of the night, which really deserves to be noted. Look at that in slow motion. You can appreciate this man's ability to run with the football. Goes one way, stops, goes the other. He gained 117 yards tonight. Penn State led at one point 17-3. How about Herschel Walker? He had only 103 yards rushing on 28 carries. Never did break the big one. Had a trick play work here late in the second quarter, as Georgia will get a late second quarter touchdown, 20-10 at halftime. In the third quarter, Walker scored from the one. It is 20-17 when Greg Garrity breaks open the game. This is the play of the night. We have it on slow motion, close-up. You can see what Garrity's doing to complete a 48-yard touchdown pass from Todd Blackledge. Blackledge was 13 of 23 passing, 228 yards. What a reception by Garrity. Joe Paterno will probably win his first national championship. The final was 27-23. Scott Palmer is in New Orleans. I'll have a complete report on that Penn State victory tomorrow here on Action News. And in the Cotton Bowl, SMU put in its bid for a national championship. They finish up the season undefeated as they put down Pittsburgh 7-3. Everyone praising that backfield of SMU, but it is the quarterback, Lance McElhenney, who will score on a keeper. 7-3, SMU goes into the lead right there. And 8 minutes to go in the game. Pitt's on the 7, and Panther head coach Fudge Fazio has to clean his glasses to figure out what happened on this play. This is the one he'll be seeing in his sleep for a long time to come. Dan Marino's pass will bounce off the chest of a safety, Wes Hopkins, intercepted by Blaine Smith. The final was SMU 7, Pittsburgh 3. Undefeated Mustangs saying that we are #1, but the final poll is going to come out tomorrow night at 6:30. Expect Penn State to be on the top one. This afternoon's Cotton Bowl to this evening's Rose Bowl. UCLA Bruins are sky high in this game versus Michigan. They're leading at 17-7 right now. They have Michigan deep into their own territory, and David Hall's pass is going to be picked off by Blanchard Montgomery. That will seal the game for UCLA 24-14. And the Bruins head coach, Terry Donahue, was reacting in a situation so similar to the Bruins head coach back in 1976 when they won the Rose Bowl. The coach back then was Dick Vermeil, who came to the Eagles, but this day belonged to Terry Donahue. We have 2 more bowls to show you on a Saturday night. Obviously, not the big ones of the day, but each one has its own story to tell on New Year's Day. First, the Orange Bowl down in Miami. Nebraska came back to beat LSU. Turner Gill going over the top for the winning touchdown. 21-20, Nebraska wins. Finally, to wrap them all up, the Fiesta Bowl. Arizona State had a pretty 52-yard bomb right here. Todd Hans to Ron Brown to clinch the Fiesta Bowl 32-21 over Oklahoma. And afterwards, Brown will take a bow as he performed so well. But the best performance in a losing effort was Oklahoma freshman Marcus Dupree, 239 yards rushing. He hurt his hamstring on this play here, didn't play anymore. Now, head coach Barry Switzer said Marcus played well, but he needs to lose weight. He says he would have scored right there if he weighed 15 pounds less, and maybe they would have won the ball game. Let's switch sports before we get bowled over by football. Let's talk hockey. First place Flyers in St. Louis tonight. They won that game by the final score of 4-1. Highlight here from the second period, as St. Louis is awfully sloppy in their own end. Darryl Sittler will take advantage. 2-1 Flyers. That's tonight's game winner. In the third period, Bobby Clark will steal and pass to Lindsey Carson. 3-1 Flyers. They won 4-1. They've won now 5 in a row. On the road, that's a Flyer record. Make it a 4-point lead. Let's check the scoreboard as the Islanders lost to Pittsburgh. Rangers over Washington. Flyers to play at Chicago tomorrow night. Elsewhere, Edmonton over Winnipeg.
Else like it on television.
Join me for Women in Prison right here on TV 29.
Didn't you